And we're live. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the Abyss. Today, we are playing some more Soma. We're still kind of getting set up, so please forgive us for this small delay. Although I'm saying that when I'm early for once. But hey, go ahead and give us like 4 minutes or so. And we'll see you all then. Thank you for holding out. You know what? We're gonna do this live. Because I gotta mute my music in order for this to work. I've been kicked from the stream. Did you kick me from the stream?
How did I do that? How would I be able to do that?
I don't know. Why was I kicked? I'm the owner. What in tarnation?
Oh shit!
How did I get kicked? I'm honestly a bit confused by that.
I'm the one that's drinking.
You're drinking?
I'm drinking.
I was half expecting some commentary.
Oh, you'll get commentary, all right. Hey, look at Cinco de Mayo.
Right. Yeah, we missed the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Try again. Stream not found.
Oh yeah, because I haven't gone yet. Hold on. It's not up yet.
Got it. Allow.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh. You good?
Sorry.
You good?
Sorry, I just flung ice cream halfway across my room. Clean up on aisle chair.
Clean up on aisle chair. I'd like to see the chair.
No, that's prohibited.
No? Oh,
Join,
okay.
start video, share screen, Soma. Allow.
Join with Streamlabs.
I'm here 3
Join
times.
with Streamlabs.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Am I in? Do you see me? You don't see me. I see you 3 times, but I don't even see a game.
Well, you're not here, so
I am there. I see you 3 times.
good for you. I see you 0 times, so you're not here.
Well,
Leave
why
and
do
come
you
back.
see me 0 do I need to disconnect you again?
Try.
Let me just leave and come back, because that's what I was doing.
Uh-huh.
I allow, and then join with Streamlabs.
Uh-huh.
Open the link.
I am this close
portion
from
of
just
it.
sharing this with you on Discord.
Start collab. I'm in.
Lies.
I'm not lying. Wait, I went to show that on stream and it disappeared. What the hell?
Well, you're not here, so I was trying to...
I am. How
You're
dare you.
not here.
I am here.
No, you're not. You do not exist. You are like the
How
limit. It
dare
does
you.
not exist.
How dare you say
You're not here.
don't. I'm here. I exist.
Oh my
I
God.
breathe.
So I gotta make a third. This is getting out of hand. Now there's 3 of them.
Huh.
Yeah, you're not even in here on my collab cam properties. Let me
That's
copy it to
weird.
you again.
But I've joined with Streamlabs. Alright,
Well,
you know
don't
what?
join with
I'm back.
Streamlabs then. Maybe it's
What?
something with the Streamlabs
I
integration.
have to join with Streamlabs.
No, you don't. Just copy the
Yes,
link.
I do. What do you mean I just copy the link? I
Click
can't
on
just
it, open it in a
paste
browser.
that link.
Open it in a browser.
That's what I do.
Yeah. And
then
don't
I
click join with
allow my
Streamlabs.
recording.
Just
But
join.
then how am I gonna get in?
We'll see. Well, we'll figure it out. Okay, there you are. I just wanted to see if I could see you. First and foremost. Hold on. How do I mute you?
I'm muted now.
Okay, good. Now rejoin with the link again, and this time join with Streamlabs.
Okay. Sure.
Well, why'd you close out?
Because I'm joining with Streamlabs.
No, don't close out. Leave it open. That way it can recognize you.
Otherwise, it's just 2 windows of the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's the point. Is to have it recognize that you are a person and then join with Streamlabs. Because I think right now the issue is that it's trying to get to your account on Streamlabs and going, that's the limit does not exist. You can't join with that. We're trying to confuse its confusion. How are you not keeping up?
Huh? What? I don't know, man.
Oh God, he's doubled up.
I am not doubled up. There's only one of me.
I can mute Discord right now and still hear you.
How? I've literally muted
there we go.
myself.
Now you have.
I've always have.
You weren't.
I was.
At least I can see you now. Oh, what is that? Hello.
What's what?
Hello.
Hello.
JB Dev has raided me with a party of 1. Don't worry, that's the biggest raid I've received in
Ever.
5 months. Oh no, 21 days. Hello, Catherine.
no,
Hello, JP.
you
How are
see-
you guys doing?
Hi, JP. You see, the collab cam just is not functioning.
Do you want me just to share on Discord?
Yeah, might be ideal.
Hi guys.
Hey, how's
Hi,
it going?
JP.
What is Ark? Ark sounds like a depressing person. Hello, how's it
Hello,
going?
I'm Mr. Tired. Okay,
Oh,
we're
you're
getting rid
tired.
of this. I'm always tired
Mr.
though. That's nothing
Tired.
new.
Bring us a dream.
Denied.
Oh, Damn. Okay. Well,
Oh,
I tried,
we're looking
guys.
for a game. Oh, there's
I
the game.
can see and hear everything, and I don't have to stream a lower quality thing to JP here.
That's true. You just have my low quality.
Yeah, yours is. I mean, I don't have to stream my low quality to JP, which means JP's getting your good quality
Yeah, I get the perfect quality.
and audio.
Yeah, perfect. Sure, let's go with that one.
It's more perfect than 5-bit.
What?
Is there actually 5-bit? Let me calculate.
No,
5 whole bits.
5 whole bits.
It's not a bit number.
3.
just gonna-
Take it or leave it.
All right, so we're doing Soma here, and oh man, you are
Aw.
extremely loud. Let me just
Aw.
lower the game audio.
I'm having my.
What kind of title we
Sec-
going with? Where are we again? Going into
I don't
the
know.
deep?
I said,
Yeah.
what does it mean? What does it mean to be
Going
human?
into
You are at Omicron, right? I would say it's fitting to be saying there's so much to discover.
Ah. Ah.
so many things.
Oh.
But I keep my dad jokes for later. I'm going to the toilet and have a small cigarette break before we go into it. Right?
Sounds good.
So see you in a
Well-
sec.
Still trying to get the live part to work.
The what?
My brother's not live yet. I'm live, but he's not.
Yeah, I was wondering.
He's dead.
Because I wanted to take turns in rating both of these channels, and I only saw you live.
Yeah, he's dead right now. It
I
happens
was
a lot.
dead.
Okay, back in a sec.
See ya. He's undead, right? That's right.
No, we actually came to the point that we wanted to call him re-alive, not undead.
Re-alive, yes.
Yeah,
That's a good
remember?
one. He was alive. He is not. Now he is back to alive again.
Re-alive. Okay, I'm gone.
I just now saw the garden. That's very. I don't know how I feel about that. It's just to paint the picture for everyone on stream. It's a garden that has flowers grown in the letters YAY. So it just says yay, but it's like the saddest yay I have ever seen.
The saddest yay?
Yes, because it's not like outlined or bolded or anything. It looks like it's like super fragile. It's gonna be one of those streams, is it?
I couldn't
Ooh.
resist.
My mentality
Look, a
is
lot of-
not prepared.
People can just do that on my stream. Anyway, hi there, everybody. How
Hi.
you doing today?
How's it
Welcome
going?
back to another Let's Play of Soma.
Welcome.
My brother's playing. You know,
Yeah.
he can explain more than me.
We are underwater and dying, but we're not alive. We're undead, or we're re-alive. We talk a lot about philosophy, and then joke around about dying a lot. And sometimes we get spooked.
Sometimes.
Yep. It's happened exactly once in the 4
Okay.
episodes we've done it.
Hi, Rose. Thank you. I appreciate
Hello,
the spook.
Polite. How are you doing?
Hi, Polite.
Polite Polar Bear is one of the first viewers I
Hello,
actually had
Penguin.
on this channel.
Oh, yes. Your channel.
I know. So active. Once a week. Down.
Hey, at least
That's
it's
good to
regular.
hear. It's true. It's true. I mean, there was a time when it wasn't, but we're past that. Also, I just realized the left eye now looks like the AI, like goop that's crawling around. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Anyway, do you want to get into it?
Yes.
How am I doing? I am tired, as I always am. Uh-oh. I should move the ice cream.
Probably. Maybe.
I'm about to punt it across my room again.
Came from another Minecraft creepypasta video. Had to share the spook. Well, I appreciate that. Oh, bro, I don't know if I told you or not. I added points on my stream.
Oh.
So fuck!
Well, apparently it was waiting for me to press the any key. Where were we? Why does it look like it's like 140p? Why am I playing Half-Life? What's going on?
Hold on, wait. I gotta get back
was
up
I?
here. Hi, I'm back.
Hello. Does it look lower
Anyway,
quality? Oh
what
no,
was I
there we go.
What was I saying before I got
Channel points.
verbally assaulted?
Noise. Loud noises.
Yeah, loud noises, exactly.
So, heal. All. Channel points.
Yes. So in my stream, the longer you watch, the more points you'll get.
Yes.
And you can spend those points to create sound effects on my stream now. Which adds for
nice.
a added level of hilarity.
I don't remember where I was or where I'm going.
Where did I go? Where am I now? Katna Jow.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I nailed it. I totally nailed that.
I guess I'm going downstairs now. So that's what I'm gonna do. I gotta get closer to my microphone. You know,
Love the
this is like the Minecraft
Yeah.
ambient noise. Why is it unnecessarily spooky sometimes?
Well, it's a horror game. It's supposed to be spooky. So I
Wonderful.
would argue it's not unnecessary. Yes.
Well, I'm not in the
silly.
mindset
Really?
of Soma just yet, so I don't remember anything. Hold on. I gotta move my stuff around so I
Well-
can see chat.
We tight roped around a abyss that we would have been crushed like a tin can if we actually went down there.
Right, right. We need to find 3 things or something. We found one of them. Got the battery packs from the clicker.
Hydrate.
Hydrate.
Penguin, you gotta do redeem hydrate.
Oh,
You
what did I
remember
say
that,
this game was
right?
about? I got... So basically this game... Stop the WoW. Yep, that's... What? How do I get out again? Wait for it.
If you
Wait
need a
for it.
reminder on how to use the stuff,
there we
Penguin,
go.
just hit exclamation list.
What is it? Squelching us. So this game is essentially...
Otter?
Welcome back. The game is essentially we are a like modern day person that's consciousness
I
has
say.
been like scanned way back in the past, and then we awoke in the far distant future. Far distant future, where we're now dealing with like a sentient AI. Why am I getting like? Excuse you, I didn't do that.
Yes, you did.
Am I about to get blown up? Whoa!
Very
Oh, you're
possible.
clean.
I'm rising. I'm falling.
You're cleaning. Bro, get it right. You're cleaning.
Yeah,
Just
you-
like
And I'm
Jerry
not
said.
a cat. But yeah, so essentially, I was not ready for that scare. Yeah, this game's a horror game. I've got no way to really defend myself, and I'm trying to explore the environment and understand what's going on as things are happening.
Yeah, normally Ark hides behind me because I play the horror game.
Excuse
since-
you?
Yeah.
Hide behind you?
Yeah, you could just watch me play, so you don't necessarily have to worry about the spooks in the environment and stuff.
I mean, it's true, but at the same time, I handle them far better than you.
What?
I
You
see.
handle them better than me?
Never seen something of that speed. It's called an exponential curve. Darn.
Exponential curve?
Yes.
I would like to give Polite Polar Bear, oh, no, that was Bear, a little rundown of the story.
Oh yeah. Are you saying you're gonna do it, or should I do it? Oh, get in here.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
Essentially, you're gonna do a lot better than I am. But my understanding of what has happened is, I can actually read these things. Okay, at theta. Structure gel test formula setup. So I started off searching around, figuring out who I am, asking a bunch of questions. Found a bunch of robots that have the consciousness of people, but they think that they are them. Like they think they're still human, and they see me as like a robot as well. And I have to make I had to make the decisions as to whether or not to murder them or to just take stuff like off of like choose which ones I essentially wanted to murder, if you will. And it kind of explored the concepts of like, well, what does it mean to be a human? What does it mean to have a consciousness? In the process of doing that, I restored a lift to get to a place where I met Catherine Chung, who explained in a little bit more detail that there's this thing called the Ark, and the Ark is a collection of all of the consciousnesses of humanity that is remaining. And we find out that apparently a meteor or something crashed into the surface of the Earth and wiped out like all of humanity. At the same time, this, I forget what it stands for, but the WAU is this like AI entity that's trying to keep humans alive, if you will. And by doing that, it like murdered people.
WAU stands for Warden Unit.
So WA for warden,
yes,
and U for unit.
Exactly.
Those are the weirdest kind of acronyms.
Well, okay. WoW makes sense. Like WoW is like a way you could say it. WU. Say that for me.
Me?
Woo! It's the woo!
Wow. Woo! Look at the woo!
So, I can kind of understand why they put the A in there. Anyway. So
Rose
once we find out this
person on stream, on my
who?
stream.
Oh yeah, true. Well, okay, that's because someone keeps using all of his points. But anyway,
yeah, penguin.
The WoW has
not to call
infected humans and kept them alive, quote unquote, and they created these creatures that are like reaching out and corrupting a lot of different machines. But at the same time, the Ark is like uploading consciousnesses to robots, and now I am essentially a robot, but I found out that apparently I'm actually just a suit with a robot in it, like a robotic head, on a dead person's body. And now I'm looking to change out my body with another body that's of the same, like, everything essentially, but in a better suit to go down deep down to retrieve the Ark using a power suit of some kind. But I can't get the power suit just yet because I got to get 3 collectibles inside of Omnicron. There's a couple things here and there that I skipped over, but yeah.
Run down like this, it's such a complicated story, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It's like, yeah, I met these people and then they died. I had a choice to kill this person and I didn't. And then I killed this other person and then I also didn't murder them. I'm going down the route of not murdering people, but I had the choice to. But then are they really people? Well, some of them are like humans that are being kept alive by the WAU, and the question is of morality. If they're basically dead and they want to die because they're in eternal suffering being kept alive against their will, should you murder them? Then it moves on to robots. And it's like, well, okay, but if it's a consciousness and it has all human memories, is it okay to unplug them to make your life easier and to progress? You know, it's really like 6 of one, half dozen of the other, whether or not you choose to remove their power source or not. And then that goes even further than when it's like, okay, what if they think they're in bliss instead of, like, they're not in pain or anything, right? Where the first robot's in pain, but the second one, it gets really deep. And we've spent hours, like, we encountered something at like 10 p.m. We were up till midnight discussing a single, like, philosophy topic. And then we'll spend like 30 minutes running through an area getting scared because the thing is like chasing me. My brother and JP will talk and they'll be like doing something like semi-scientific. And I'm just screaming in the background like you know, oh, that's not the button to keep forgetting it's right click. Some side character that's just screaming his head off, as I do.
Yeah, the game has very deep topics that actually, I mean, yeah, Ark is kind of like 2 chapters ahead in that game all the time. You see the plot coming from miles away, but the beautiful thing about Soma, in my opinion, is that the game changes topic as soon as you find out what's going on, and changes the topic like unfairly to give you another thing to think about. It can be very deep. It asks a lot of philosophical, deep questions and faces yourself with the moral dilemmas. And,
I'm trying to determine what's the time frame here. Is this 26 minutes or is this 26 seconds?
But I would guess that the right side is seconds, the middle part is minutes, and the first one is hours.
Well, I would agree if it wasn't for that O2. Usually I see that as like nanoseconds.
I would
or
say it's 2
milliseconds?
seconds because it's only 2 digits, right? And not 4 or 3 digits.
It depends upon certain cameras and how they time. Usually what happens is once you hit the limit of the leftmost one, it'll shift them all over by right, and then it will be seconds, which is why I'm going, what is the units? Because if this is like, if that's the case, 26 hours to get to this stage is not near, it's still fast, I guess, but like it's not nearly as bad as if that happened in half an hour. Woo! It's schmovin'.
Yeah, well, I can safely say that these are 2 seconds on the first picture, and you will soon know why. In this room, this room actually holds a lot of answers for your questions that you had before.
Well, it's saying that they use structure gel to achieve the stationary phase in a slower time frame, but then it never dies. Usually, and the death phase, the stage that you get to the same stage at an earlier rate, even if it took longer to achieve the stationary phase.
So, polar bear, you actually feel like we can get pretty nerdy and pretty deep about these topics.
Oh, yeah. It went from a puddle to grabbing the camera. Yeah, true.
Yeah. I that is actually why I like discussing with these two brothers, because I don't know if you know them longer than me, or if this is the first time you are here, I have no idea. But we spent like 45 minutes in one area without going on.
Without moving.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Did it again.
Wonderful, deep discussions that could be enhanced to outside the game, but they were triggered by the game. It's hilarious.
Now, it was saying stop the WoW, but I thought it was the WoW initially that was telling us that. So, that's interesting.
The WoW going,
What
stop
I forgot about
us.
asking you in the last stream was, you got already contacted by something or got hints from something as you were in the Omicron Annex outside where you restored the power. What would you
Yes.
say with how many parties we deal in this game?
What do you mean by how many parties? Are you talking about... So, we were touching on this last time. Just to kind of give another recap, just to encapsulate the ending discussion we had last time. We were contemplating the Leviathan theory, which is... not the Leviathan, the Legion theory, sorry.
Yeah,
we are
from the Bible.
Yeah, so basically... I'm listening! Quiet! I'm speaking right now. There is a concept of what if you were... Why does every single body, every single human on the planet have only one consciousness? Like, why could there not be two inside of one body? You know, and we have medical conditions that kind of explain that. But what if we had 100? Yeah. That's what we're thinking happened with the WAU, is... The WAU is essentially the hive master that has several hundreds or thousands of human consciousnesses uploaded to it. And they're all conflicting with each other, they're all interacting with each other, and now we're getting to this stage where they're all in pain and suffering, and they want it to end. But the Hive Master doesn't. And that's the WoW, and that's the thing keeping all the humans alive, and maybe the WAU has determined consciousness is a human life. So all the consciousnesses that it has held onto is being kept alive as well. So that's a thing to kind of just, contemplate.
Now the question about the number of parties that are involved here gets way more complicated because we know that one party, like the WoW, could as well be several parties at the same place, right?
I would dispute that. I would say they are by nature. So you'd have to separate physically from the mentally realm, right? Because sort of like the veil perception theory, where we're all limited by the perceptions of the human body. Same thing here is people were often back in the day of like right around the time of John Locke and Jean Pierre in philosophy would discuss this of what is reality, right? Reality is always going to be perceived by the faulty faculties of the human body. Yes, it is the easiest stream. Be quiet.
Well,
I am
honest,
being quiet. That's why I'm
to be honest,
saying it.
Rabbit,
Yeah.
to be honest, Omicron should be the most difficult stream when it comes to progress because this station triggers a lot of discussion, I think.
Yes,
This will be
if you want to
very
stop to think about it, that is it's if you want to stop to think about it, which we do. I do.
So anyone who is here for
Yeah.
gameplay, you can leave immediately.
Watch back at our archive videos because there's a little bit more back then. Anyway, the concept was that we were trying to, as humans, we were trying to wrestle with the notion that we were struggling with what is real, what is the most real thing if we're always having to perceive things through eyeballs, through ears, through our hearing senses and the secondary perception. Well, why does there have to be something, right? What if the only reason why something is real is because we perceive it, which is the whole notion if a tree falls in a forest, does it actually exist, etc., etc. Same thing here,
What do you think
right?
this is, The
If you have
Matrix?
100 consciousnesses in one body, going back to our original topic, because we are perceiving that one body with 100 consciousnesses in it, by essence, that is still one entity. It is a new entity that has the power of 100 consciousnesses. It's essentially you compact it all into one suffering being, and when you separate them, then maybe they become separate entities once more, sort of like when you create a new robot and you put a consciousness into it, it becomes a new entity at that moment, different from the consciousness it was originally copied from.
Aha.
Ark, do you know the movie Split?
No, what is that?
Ooh.
It is the second part of a series that doesn't seem to be connected at all because they are pretty separated until the third part, until the third movie when suddenly
Wait.
all comes together.
Apt.
You
What's the second? I thought that was the third one.
No, the second is called Split. The third one is called Glass. The first
Oh,
one
I was
is
getting flipped. Gotcha.
Unbreakable. You probably know that one. Bruce
Unbreak-
Willis,
oh yeah,
I think.
Mr. Glass and Luke
Yeah.
Cage, is it?
Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis.
It's not
And the
Luke
second
Cage.
part-
It's actually a unique person, the character, but it's Bruce Willis.
Okay.
The second movie, Split, is about one person that kind of holds like, I don't know how many, maybe 13 personalities. He's schizophrenic as fuck. The thing with that person is that whatever personality comes like in the front, it comes into control, is changing his physicality as well. So he gets the physical properties of that persona just by the psychology. Like you said, with the pain that you get from fire that doesn't really exist, but you think it's there, yeah?
Yeah, phantom pains is, I think, what it's called. Phantom senses in some cases.
Exactly. So in that movie, there are two parties. One of them is one party are afraid of the so-called beast, while the other party of these alternate personas are actually pro-talkers. Oh, how do you say that? Not protesters, but not protesters, but the different way. What is the opposite?
Antagonist?
Of protesters? Yeah, antagonist of the beast, and the beast is one of these personas, and they kind of constantly fight about should the beast appear or should it not. And
I feel like the beast would be the antagonist, and the other personality would be a more or less, you could call it the side character or the assistant character.
I'm talking
Think of
about
it like
assistants
Bruce
and
Banner.
opponents. They are in two teams, and that personality.
Like the devil and the angel
team.
on your shoulders kind of concept.
No. That is only two persons, the angel and the devil. But he has 13 personalities, and like 6 of them are liking the beast, and the other ones are not liking it. But
So
only
it's like
one
the
of
angel and the devil, but with a council instead of just 2.
Yeah, let's say that. Okay.
And that's why it's Legion.
While
more
6
than
of these
just 2.
personalities try to hide the beast, the other ones try to uncover it, and it's a constant fight in that body. And he's changing personality like every 30 seconds, and he plays that incredibly well. It is Edward Norton, and I like that actor a lot.
This game's gonna
And
do this to you.
whenever he
This
changes
is the entire
personality,
game. Just warning you now.
immediately see that on the screen. He has such a great talent to show that. It's incredible. And finally, the beast obviously comes into the light. They call it like who is in control. And at that moment, he's changing physicality so much. He gets muscles. He gets so many muscles at that point because he's the beast. Suddenly, he can climb on walls and the ceiling because he's the beast, right?
Right.
So, where I'm going with this, they are a lot of personas in one body, but they can still be on different teams. This is what I want to compare to the WoW. You said something like there are thousands of scans in their personality, but they can still be on different teams. That is why my initial question of how many parties do you think we have is going to. I mean, we obviously have our own party, or let's say we are 2 parties. Simon, who doesn't know what he's doing at all. Catherine, who obviously has her own motives, and she kind of forces us to do them to support her because we just don't have any mission. But as soon as we entered Omicron outside the power annex there, suddenly there was something connecting to us via the screens, and it still does while we are here. Here, like that. We want to stop it. You have to stop it.
Well, I think this, I mean, you could argue about the illusion of choice here, but I think it's more of the purpose of life kind of argument where you have to question, why am I doing any of this? And the answer is, what else am I gonna do in a lot of cases? I could do 1,000 things. I could walk out of this building right now and just try to walk off into the endless abyss and die. But I don't. Why? Why do I continue going down these things?
We can kind of count ourselves into the same team as Catherine, right? Because we just don't have.
But we're choosing to do that, right? That's a choice where we're choosing. We don't trust you, but we don't have a better alternative. We don't have a reason or a rationale that supersedes what you are proposing. So it's like, okay, I guess this is the best course of action because all the logic, all the evidence thus far is pointing to, you know, at least this is going to do something good with the remaining 5 minutes of our life. Because supposedly...
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, by the way, Polite Bear, apparently the last humans on Earth are already dead. Apparently I'm not... I'm just inhabiting a dead body. I am the re-alive of a dead body. And we got to witness... So every single human in the future has a black box put inside of their head. We're basically just like a mental recorder. And we could read the minds. That's why all the bodies around here have their heads blown off. Because supposedly the WAU instructed the black boxes to overheat and explode, and then they all went pop. And now we can't read anything because the thing that we were reading before that had data on it, nope, not anymore. It's gone. So, yeah. Also, we're reading this.
I would actually suggest that you read this aloud and
Okay.
calmly without us discussing.
Hey, brother!
It's actually quite interesting.
Yes.
You haven't talked. I'd love to hear the sultry voice of my dear brother over there.
Hi, how are you? It is me,
It's gonna take like 5
dear
minutes, but
brother.
yes.
Is that the voice of Lisa Cameron? Oh my god. Jeez.
The Lisa Cameron?
See, Lisa Karen.
Karen? Don't be a Karen, come on.
Oh my gosh.
Gives me a chance to eat my ice cream. Go for it.
Lisa Cameron, the structure gel has been charged and actually keeps going for a while. even when removed from a power source. If applied to circuits, it seems to help out with connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's destroy the WoW. Like it's not only connectivity, but even functionality. The gel can make simple machinery work and act more efficiently. However, the modifications that the WoW has made to the gel are full of extra information. That doesn't necessarily make sense. When applied to something more complicated, it causes the gel to act as a cancer upon the host, eventually take the gel, ruining it. We could use the gel to our advantage, but it needs to be uncalibrated to get rid of the bad code.
Which is weird to think about uncalibrating something to make it work, but sure. Jacob Hartleprin.
Applied gel to dead mouse. The gel caused the mouse to appear alive.
God, Jacob, you
It
sound a
was-
lot like Lisa.
Stop the WoW. It was put into the same habitat as a
It was
living
me,
mouse.
deal.
There, reanimated mouse was apathetic, while the living one seemed stressed. After 15 minutes, the reanimated mouse attacked and killed the living mouse. Half an hour later, the reanimated mouse stopped moving. The corpse was solid, as the gel had hardened within it. We suffer. Reanimated another mouse with structure gel. This time, it was done with uncalibrated gel, as produced by our Ames? Yamis?
What? Where? Ames.
Ames?
Yeah.
As produced by Ames. The results were impressive. The thing appears
Catatonic.
catatonic.
Yep.
But it's more of a sleepwalker. To avoid the thing hardening as before, electromagnets are used to cause a low electrical current within the animal. This has also provided us with the ability to somewhat control it.
Essentially, what
one
they're
is
asking, what the other mouse do to him, it could be 1,000 things, but the simplest answer, via like Occam Razor, I would argue, is, well, it sensed that maybe it was a threat to its life, therefore took out the cause of stress factors. Could be 1,000 things, though. Paula Lansky.
The structure gel remains unchanged on a fundamental level. We suffer. Still the same cross-linked gel with aligned graphene in a polyunsaturated mixed
Nice,
matrix that was installed throughout Pathos 2 a few years ago. The problem is not the gel, but its controller. The WoW. The gel has
Thank
not taken
Thank you.
take the gel on any new properties. The WoW simply uses it in ways that we would never even have dreamed of.
That's like the concern about AI. But moving on. Claudia Ames.
Overwhelming evidence concludes that all deformed creatures, the fish, the sharks, and even the helpers, destroy the WoW, were manipulated by the WoW. The WoW! Via structure gel. They have, in some manner, been exposed to charged gel and, in turn, stricken by a cancerous growths that affect their whole being.
it's difficult to say why when talking about an AI, but take the gel. It all started shortly after the comet killed the surface. I can't for sure say it if it's bad code or carefully programmed mercy killing, but it looks like it's not going to make things easier for us to survive.
Well, maybe it thinks it is.
So,
Maybe it thinks.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I missed Pink Rose. Hello, Pink Rose. I didn't have the YouTube channel open, so I only saw Twitch chat. Welcome back.
Oh wait, no.
To elaborate a little bit for Polar Bear, yes, we are currently underwater because this station, which is a science station, was the only thing that got spared or saved. The comet destroyed the surface of the Earth. This is what was told to us. We don't have any proof on that. We gotta believe that for now.
No.
Because this station is kinda deeply underwater. It got spared by the comet. And yeah, we struggle to find any human life. Though.
Yeah.
True.
And this, I guess that for Bear,
Yes, we are
it's kind
currently
of
underwater.
confusing that we are so detailed on the structure gel thing, but actually it answers a lot of questions that we had for the whole game. Because whenever we were in stations, in any of these stations, there was black stuff, black goo bursting through pipe and dropping from the ceiling and bleeding through walls. It was pretty scary, and suddenly we get an explanation for that. Yes?
I'm going to say I'm a little disappointed, to be honest. Because essentially what they're saying is the structure gel, more or less, I mean, there's some stipulations to it, but it's essentially like unobtainium. It's like, so, you know the issue we have with robotics and prosthetics and some even like rocketry and like advanced technologies of today? Yeah, it's solved. How? Well, we got this gel. It just, can be programmed and turned into hard structures from absolutely nothing. Oh, how does it do that? We just throw some like electrical currents or something, and then it works. It just works. Don't question it.
It just works. Now, speaking of just working,
yes,
bro, you remember the game A Hat in Time?
Yes. Oh.
Okay. How about you, JP? Have you heard of that game before?
I know that game. It's funny that you mention it. I mean, considering your username.
Yeah.
Yes. I do enjoy me some Hat in Time. Well, I'm on their Discord server, and I have Nitro on Discord.
Yeah.
And a soundboard. They uploaded some sounds specifically for their server, and one of them is just...
God, that sounds creepy as hell. I don't recognize this as a sound from the game, though. I don't know that game that well.
Okay, so...
Was that you?
What?
When I opened this...
Yeah, it was not a sound from Soma.
Because that was really good timing.
Yeah, it was, actually.
I opened this up, pulled it out, and went, fool! Okay.
It kind of fitted like the theme of that game, right?
I am the deep. I am the abyss. Fear me. Why are you putting me back? No, go back. Listen, I know we have our differences, but could you just release me? Oh my god. That actually spooked me a little. I was like, meow. Okay.
But yeah, the Anyway, so that sound effect, the came from oh god. Yeah, but what was the character's name? He's in the Dark Forest and he makes a contract with you. It's basically like the third part of the game.
What could go wrong? Oh wait, you have the option of reanimating the rat?
Yes.
Why would I want to do that?
Because maybe you want to try to understand how structure gel works. But remember, Soma rule number 1 was everything has consequences.
You be quiet over there. I don't need no trombones in my back. Ah, yes. Now it's like
Yes. It has turned. The
Let's do
rat
it.
turned into a computer chip.
Well, so here's the thing, right? This brings up an actual interesting pondering because up to this point, I've made the decision actively to not murder anything that's already alive. But now it's giving me the option to play God, essentially. Because that is what the
Yeah,
structure
you-
gel does. But the issue is that you give it... You don't control it.
Kind of.
Well, no, that's the thing. Is you don't control it. The WoW now controls it. But you can reanimate it if you so choose. The issue is that it never
Well-
really went out well for the rat, nor did it end up well for anybody who was really looking at the rat, so...
Yeah.
Listen!
Peck. Hey, what's pizza?
There was way too much sauce on the pizza.
So yeah, structure gel kinda is like the biostructural
Bottle flip.
mass. At the
Nice.
same time, like DNA, biomass, and cable chip structure at the same time. Like a tool for the WoW to enhance its range.
Well, so what it was saying was that it is a biomechanical structure that basically mimics the hardness of steel while being at the same time as fluid as it's like a Newtonian fluid that can be controlled by mechanical means. And that's essentially like if we had something similar to that with an infinite power source, because that was the other thing it was saying is it seems to just keep going. It doesn't have any like recharge necessary. Once you power the gel, it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And you're like, wait a minute, hold on. How?
Yeah,
Con-
now you
conservation
could
of
put the
energy?
photos again, the photos at the whiteboard, because now they make actually more sense.
Well, as a scientist, I kind of already interpret. That's how I was using these to interpret the text instead of vice versa. Because you get up to 8 hours here, which is backs your claim that first one's in hours on the photos. Because after 8 hours, they just kind of gave up and they're like, "Look at this thing. What's happening? It's not going away." But the question became like, how? It
What
mimicked
polar
the
bear-
circuit.
No way.
What Polar Bear cannot know, we actually found a lot of, let's say, comatose persons embedded into a lot of structural gel.
Oh.
It's-
Yes. So they basically there's robots, right? They were repaired with the structure gel. But in order to operate some of these robots, you must use human interaction. In order to kind of get around that, human consciousnesses were just uploaded to these robots, and
Oh,
I guess
no.
they were powered by the gel.
I'm not talking about the consciousness put into other bodies. I'm talking about the the human persons you saw at Theta that were just connected to the WoW in kind of a like Matrix dream state, comatose.
Oh yeah, like in the wall. Yeah, they were like embedded into the walls. But that does. I think the only reason why they were corrupt. So the question becomes, what can it corrupt? Is it just inorganic matter? Can they infect an actual living human being, or can they only infect the black box inside of the human being? Does it transmit through just physical like layers such as like physical contact, or are there airborne like particles that can, or even waterborne particles that can transmit to fishes and transmit through like sporic kind of transmissions, because they do seem a bit fungal in nature. There's 1,000 questions that just are not answered that are more like the answers of yes. It's spread. That's all you need to worry about.
At least we saw about our own body the radio, how's it called, X-ray machine at Theta, which shows
Oh, yeah.
that we are actually a female body without a head, with a
Yeah.
lot of structure still connected to a cortex chip, which is like a binocular on top of our neck. So we are just a robot female body hybrid that has a male consciousness in it. Pretty crazy stuff, connected by the structure gel, and that shows how capable that stuff is for this universe.
Well, that's the other thing, right? Sometimes it's hard to remember the fact that this is the imagination. Poison the well.
What's going
So that's
on?
Ross that's been taken over. When did the goat get here? What the dog doing?
I took a risk on the Performium Network soundboard.
Uh-huh.
Played, buddy. Well
Was
played.
that Goat Simulator? What? Where did that one come
It's just
from?
labeled. It's just labeled "Scream" with a goat picture on it.
Oh my god.
Since War Thunder, I just call it Thor Simulator.
Wait, this door's open now. Was this always open? Oh, it was. Yes. This is the last way to go.
Hey, could you press
Override this.
tabulator for a second?
Tab?
Tab, yeah. Thank you.
I got two.
Oh, you're moving the lockdown. Okay.
Ah, I'm sure that's gonna be just peachy. Rednerpo! Ooh.
I guess if you tune in that late into the story, it's kind of weird and confusing. it makes sense to us, right?
Which part?
Yeah, barnacles.
Yeah,
Not particles.
every one of them.
Oh, yes. Alright, what's
It
behind
all
door number
means a lot
one?
Now, I will say one thing that slightly annoys me about the game, but it makes a lot of sense. Is just
Stay there.
every so often the visuals just get automatically blurry.
Yeah.
If you're not
The
entered.
separation.
What?
Yeah.
You mean the separation of the RGB, or do you mean the distortions?
Both.
Well, both. I mean, like
I can
right
turn them
now,
off, I think.
Yeah, you
yeah,
can.
right now it has that effect, and it's just like, well, not terrible.
Not there.
Yeah, refraction might be it.
No, it is
Post effect?
separation something.
Display.
Where is it?
Oh no
No.
no. I think it's a post
No,
effect.
no.
thing.
That's fine to leave it as is. It gives
You
the
can try
actual
that.
effect of the game.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe it's under game.
Color separation. That's it. That is the
Oh.
separation of the colors if you are hurt. Which is actually helpful if you want to know that you're hurt.
Oh, I don't care if
Yeah,
I'm hurt or
but-
not. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Okay.
I don't care how close to death I am.
Yeah, well, now we can see the
Ooh.
game.
Yeah, it's a
But
little.
it did add to the ambiance
okay.
and a little bit of the horror aspect.
I will say
of
the
it,
only reason
too.
why I got scared in part was because of those effects, because I couldn't tell what was going on, and then he sprinted at me full speed, and I was like, I was not ready for that.
By the way,
Yeah,
this
that's it.
room explains why I call our little buddy robot friend Hate.
Our little buddy Bubble Butt.
Can you actually
mean,
understand
cake.
this formula?
Yeah.
I cannot.
Oh, I'm trying to understand how they broke down. So it's just F equals MVE, which I'm assuming is velocity of escape. Usually it's MA. And I'm trying to understand. So there has
so
got
what
current
is-
over volt and amperage, I think.
So okay, so you got sub and superscript. So which one
Yes.
is the subscript? Because superscript I know is
Above.
exponential.
So subscripts usually are designators. So if you have F of N, you're usually talking about normal force. If you have M, that's
Okay.
mass. V is usually either velocity, or vector. They usually use a different way. They use alpha for angular velocity, though. But it doesn't make sense because the units don't work out unless it's acceleration. Usually force is mass times acceleration. So I'm trying to understand where this velocity is coming from. So there must be some form of acceleration. But then they turn that into what is that?
Could it be
angular
growth?
velocity. Growth?
If you say velocity, so speed, could it be growth? Like the speed of growth?
Oh, I mean, it's
That's the question.
possible.
I don't know. I don't know.
They
Well,
they were
the
studying
issue here is
wow.
what I'm trying to understand is what are they trying to measure here? Because from what I'm seeing here, if this is truly mass and velocity, then that's not force. I'm trying to understand what the F, unless it's T, is it?
Yeah.
Angular
it was
force?
what, right? It
Right.
seems like the main formula is at the left side. The L equals velocity.
Well, so
divided
usually
by, what is A? A is what?
it
Acceleration?
depends. No, lowercase a is typically acceleration. Capital A is usually like amperage or it's because if it's
That's
V
the
over A,
power
that would be resistance is L. But they
What is
usually use
amperage? Is that the power of electricity?
it's
Ampere?
current. So
Uh,
voltage and amperage relate as in resistance. If I remember, it's I equal. So I is typically the current measured in amps. So A would
okay.
be.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Oh man, this is taking me back to physics 1 with calculus. I haven't studied this in 7 years.
JP,
Damn.
we are hearing things, or is Ark's tiredness?
Oh yeah.
Nobody
I
can mimic
thought-
that.
I thought about adding the Wilhelm scream, but I don't know if I can.
Mm.
Yeah,
But so
probably.
a typical thing with
Just
like
a sound
engineering,
effect.
right, and sciences in general, what we try to do to come to conclusions mathematically is we'll create a representation or a breakdown of a single thing. So we'll take something like force, and then we will split that up into mass and acceleration. Then we will substitute something inside of that to give us a new formula for force to measure it in a comparative manner. So that's how we can derive like angular force and tension from a linear force.
what's
That's what it looks like
interesting
they're
in
doing here.
At this whiteboard only makes sense in a mechanical or robotic fashion because we are at the robot
Yeah.
repair bay, right? And what is that in the third line? It says V in uppercase letter. And I don't know if the other ones are just a continuation of that word or if they are subscript.
So here's the thing. If I do I have my mouse on this? No, I can't point to. Okay, so this F down here matches this F up here. This F here is separate. This
Yeah,
has no
that's
bearing
right.
on this at all. But what they do is they use this to say, okay, if F of M equals MVE, then we can assume M. I guess what they did here is they broke down MVE into a new angular format. It looks like where they've got MVE minus alpha. What the hell is that? But then they have A of E PV minus P.
What is it saying there? Pump? What is that? PMP?
I honestly I don't know. But then
Oh,
what they
it's
do.
AM.
What then they do is they create a second line, a separate listings of equations to create a comparative from this line here, which we throw down into this side.
Which should match the same F type, right? Which
Right.
it doesn't.
But then what they do is they have the F of vacuum equal C coefficient or something times M dot. M dot is usually a derivative of C
That
star.
exists, an M with a dot and on top of it.
Yeah. So usually you would have a dot when you talk about derivatives of something,
I
and then you
never
have a double
saw that
dot.
anywhere. Okay.
So basically, derivative. I mean, I don't know if you know what derivatives are. I know. Okay, so for people who don't know, essentially it's the slope of something. So the accelerations, the derivative becomes velocity. So you go from mass over seconds squared to mass over seconds. The derivative of that would be just mass or meters. What am I saying? Meters over seconds squared goes to meters over seconds goes to meters.
So good.
And then the integral is the opposite of that. You undo it. You go from meters to meters over second to meters over second squared.
Well, that's
I'm
actually
really
important
taking
that you just
risks
said it's the
here.
opposite. Because if we look at the graph at the right side, then we see there's an
Yes.
opposite. One of them is increasing, the other one is decreasing in the same manner, right?
Right.
So you as an engineer, if you look at that, does this actually make sense? Does this actually describe something mechanical or robotic?
There's 1,000 things it could be. The first thing I notice is it looks similar to a stress strain curve, but it looks more like a chemical thing of like a
what?
titration point. Stress strain curve, but that's not what this is, because if it was, the units would be completely different. They wouldn't necessarily be talking about forces in this manner. This is more of a physics thing than it is an engineering thing, as far as I can tell. Or it's an electrical engineering thing, because that's electrical engineering is more in line with robotics than mechanical, in my opinion. Just because the mechanical, like, you can design the shell, but all the components and the internals of the robot is mostly electrical. So that's outside of my wheelhouse for the most part. But in this curve here, what it shows me is some breaking point where at some point you reach a diminishing return. So in like this derivative tells me that they're trying to find
Break even?
the
point or
rates.
what?
They're trying to
Because
find
it
the
looks
rate
like
at
a
which
break-even- like a
it breaks
break-even
even.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they put a line exactly where they the red line and the other line that's going up intersect.
I just don't know what the red and the green are supposed to represent. Well, they're saying the green is this new formula. Is what it looks like because it's color coded. Unless there's something else around here that can help identify it. What did I grab? No.
Terrible time for me to have a mouthful of water.
Bottle of
I'm
what?
experimenting with sound effects at the moment, so yeah, don't mind me.
I got a dingle
I
dongle.
thought this one that said "wow" would be more like the "wow,"
Wow.
but
Okay, so
instead it was the "wow."
okay, so there's that with a cable thing. Bull.
Look at the middle.
Oh,
No,
come
no,
on.
no, stop it, stop it. Stop it.
Hey,
They can't have
hey,
that one.
Gotcha.
I thought it would be a different sound.
DMCA.
It's a 5-second sound effect. It's fine.
Yeah.
That was the longest 5 seconds of
Not
my
that
life.
long.
Okay, so I guess there's nothing else I can really do. I was trying to see if there was like a blueprint I could look at that would make sense. What am I doing here?
Yeah, there is a blueprint that
Okay.
makes sense. This puzzle is actually one of my contributions to the Soma speedrunning route.
Uh-huh.
I found an optimization for that one that saves 2 clicks, which is like 0.0001
So wait,
seconds.
we want to eject?
I want to know more. What's this one?
Why do I keep seeing the big belly guy? Why do you?
No! Hey!
Hey, yo, what are you doing?
I changed the text color, the nickname color.
What now?
That was me.
So
Sorry.
There says, keep seeing the big belly guy, and then you said that was me. Are you the big belly
Oh.
guy? Right?
I have a big belly. Yeah, I do.
Okay. You wanna
Wait,
go?
he does?
You wanna go?
When did this
into
happen?
it? I'm pretty sure my belly's bigger.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh.
My belly did get slimmer in the past year.
It got slimmer.
Yeah, a combination of ring fit and cutting out sugars from my diet.
Okay.
Okay,
I was
so
at
I'm
250 pounds, and now I'm at like 210, 200-ish, around there.
250 pounds. You're always
Ah.
kilos is the half of that. Oh, okay. See, well, it's ages ago that I actually stood on a how's that called? Something that
A
weighs
scale?
your weight. A scale. Yeah. The last time I stood on a scale, it said to me, "Only one person, please."
What is the
I messed up.
unit of weight that you go with?
Kilo.
Kilogram.
Kilos.
I messed up.
Gram. Kilogram.
Actually, Ark, you kinda did because you solved
Yes.
the puzzle because you could before you could see the interesting stuff.
Yep. I did. That's
I'll
exactly what I
say.
was saying. I'm trying to put it back in.
You
How do I put it
realize,
back
right?
in? How do I put it back in?
But I can
wanna-
tell you, if you wanna.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
you
I
can-
was
Usually,
113 kilos.
because people read from the top to the bottom, they see the communications, optics,
Yeah.
and mechanics first. So they try to connect the lines to
Everyone
these
on the desk.
outputs.
Oh!
And if you do that, then the correspondent part of that robot actually moves or lights up or talks to you. And it's not that it feels like it would be alive, but it's still creepy standing there while the arm, triggered by the mechanics, is freaking out. Or the
Oh.
stick notes, the optics are kind of beeping to you, and you feel like, is there a secret message behind it? Or the radio is suddenly doing scrappy noises to you, and you kind of feel awkward in that moment. And-
This is
and
the
yeah,
big belly
and
guy,
you-
by the way.
Oh, the Buddha. Okay.
Oh. Well,
I'm probably going to
Buddha's in
hell
the
for that
trash
one.
now for some reason.
So I will say for me though, this triggered something else of a memory. I don't know, well, not a memory. I studied something a long time ago that's very disturbing. So I'm gonna share it now because it's relevant. The body still sends out electrical signals even after it dies, which is why
Yeah.
people reported when people get beheaded in the French Revolution that the eyes would still move and look around for minutes after their death.
Yeah, makes sense. It's still
Right.
still an own cell that is still under electricity and acts like it's usually acting, right?
Right,
It's
exactly.
like a battery.
If I don't go near him, will he live? Like, I feel like I get near this guy, he's gonna die.
Maybe you should conclude your thought here.
Yes. So, what the main point of that was what you were talking about. The person is going to like that. You'd basically be looking at it, the soul of somebody that's dying, because you don't know if there's at this point. It's the notion of what if you put a consciousness into a mute robot, a robot that has zero capabilities of speaking, has no speaker. Would you ever know that there's a consciousness in there?
Good question. Which you can actually turn around. I mean, it's
Turn
like the theory
around.
of. But what about your sensory data?
Right.
You look through your eyes. Does it matter if you are connected to the matrix from the movie Matrix and you're just receiving input into your brain that mimics the input that you get through your eyes? You can't tell the difference, right?
Which is the veil of perception. That is
Yeah.
exactly what the veil of
Exactly, yeah.
perception. That's the reason why the phrase "I think therefore I am" is so important, because it sort of addresses that. Where you start getting into the deeper you go into philosophy, the more you have to address the question of what is it doesn't mean to think. Does
Absolutely,
can
yeah.
anything think?
Yeah.
And does it mean are you a person just because you think, or what does it mean to necessarily be a human? Like
I have to interrupt you because there's this famous quote that I have to ask you. What is it in English? I try to describe it. I am and therefore I be. No, I think and therefore I am. Is there this?
I
famous
think
quote?
therefore I am, and it's
Pretty close.
to think is to be, or it's oh god, I just heard it like 2 days ago.
But you know what I am. What,
Yes.
what I mean.
Yeah, it's Aristotle or Socrates. No,
Yeah, some
Plato.
of
It's
them.
it's Plato. It's Plato, I believe.
Maybe.
It was
by the
I
way-
was post Aristotle, I believe.
Polar Bear said, "I think so," and now I'm interested.
Ah, but
Part
do
of
you
our
think?
discussion, was meant by this, because we are missing the context right now, because it could be both of the things.
Well, like this guy, right?
Be.
I took out what supposedly is the optics of it, right? Or the cortex chip,
my
which is like the brain.
My feeling was that Polar Bear answered as we were talking about the sensory out and input.
Oh, right. Well, it was the question of like if I remember correct, because he said the question marks in what when I talked about the heads. I'm pretty sure being able to still feel and like see things, but like the question there is, are they alive if they're not connected to the sensory things that are
Yeah, that was what you were saying. Yeah. Mhm.
and then that goes to the veil of perception, which then led to the question of, well, if you're trapped right inside of a body and or like a robot, as a consciousness, if we were to presume that as a consciousness is enough to be a living being, and you were to put that into a thing that could not speak its mind, it cannot communicate that it has a thought or a will or a reason to live or memories of that it was once human, etc., etc. And then you just continue to go about your life assuming that it wasn't that because nothing else is like that, right?
Yeah.
Is it actually a consciousness? Is it actually alive like all the other things we assume in this game would be alive, considering that they act like they're alive? And if you presume that it is not the case, right? Hey, I know that look. Okay, I'm sidetracked real quick. That's the exact oops I give when you're in Dead Space and I click the wrong button and it's like, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean to have a child laugh when you were walking down a spooky hallway. I wanted like a spook noise to happen, but okay, sure. We're rolling with it.
Spook noise being a child laughing is spook enough.
So, Polite, that's the entire premise of this game.
There are two thoughts.
I'm just going to address this real quick. I mean, can robots think like humans can? We're under the assumption right now that we're 100 years in the future. If you look at the logs, whenever we see the logs again, it's like 2103, 2104, and we're assuming that the consciousness has been perfectly replicated and uploaded, and you're picking up right where the scan of the brain scan for the data that was collected left off. And so one of the questions that was asked is, okay, let's say you're a human being. You get a brain scan. Then the brain scan, they put into a robot. Now you're alive and the brain scan is alive. Are there two of you? Or are you two separate entities? And that was the question you were asking, and the conclusion we kind of came to is you are two separate entities, but we're under the assumption that they think just as well as you can, because that's my character. I'm thinking, aren't I? So wouldn't that go to prove to the answer yes? Maybe.
I think
actually
therefore
one
I
of
am.
the. This is one of the basic questions in the game, Polar Bear. We were under the assumption we were playing Simon Jarrett, the human guy that just had a car accident, that went to his doctor just to scan his brain for damages, and then suddenly we awake in this future, dark, whatever, horror surrounding environment. And we actually see no difference between our perception of the real world and the stuff that is put to our brain right now while we saw ourselves in the mirror. Why does this look so weird?
Keep going, ignore me.
Okay.
Just trying to plug it in. Just trying to plug it in.
Hey, yo.
But is the second one also not a human?
If you're talking about Catherine, she is not a human anymore that we know of, but she was once a human.
She was, and she knows about that.
And if you're talking about Simon as the second body that I got uploaded to, I'm a suit that contains the dead body of a human that has no head anymore and has robotics place, a female human. That is very important. Although I can't look, I have no legs. I would be looking down a lot more if I did. But
why would you be looking down at your
when
legs
you get a brain scan, don't worry about it.
We got a brain scan in 2015.
Oh no! I see what he's saying. So what he's saying is, if you were to upload the brain scan, would the second person be a human? And the answer is, as far as we can tell, is we don't know, because we would have to make assumptions. But the assumption we are underneath is that yes, if you were to assume that consciousness is all that the human could be boiled down to. And this is actually a huge, bigger question, right?
In my definition, a human defines human soul and so human consciousness and human body.
So yeah, but you got human consciousness and a human body, and technically in this, I've got the body of a human. Maybe not the full body. Yeah, maybe it's not my body, but it's a body, right? I got a robotic brain, and I've got a consciousness of another human body. So you have to draw the line of, well, what's the actual soul? What's the essence of a human, right? This is the most he can contribute right now.
It's pretty much it.
Okay,
There's no gaps
let's see
to
that
jump
dude
in.
over there.
Hi, buddy. How you doing? Kind of steampunk.
Are you a cyborg? Are you an android? What? What?
Don't say
are
that.
you?
Come on, you know better.
What?
You know better. Come on.
No.
Wow.
I'm saying it's not the WoW though. It's maybe a part of WoW. It may be hooked up to WoW, but
Bro, it's I
am
found
going to
a
server
perfect
mute.
sound
I
effect.
mean, you see what is around him, right?
yes.
So you get a
The
play
black blood.
detective here, see what happened.
No, yeah, it's the black blood, and it's the WoW trying to keep it alive, but it's the first one you've seen that's not completely encased in the cancerous substance. It looks more like a human tried to replicate it all than the
It's
WoW
not the
trying to
first
save
one.
them.
It's actually not the first one. We saw several
No, the other ones.
individuals of them.
No, the other ones were completely like red. Their skin was like. What are you talking about?
Boing.
No, one of them is yourself. You have contact with a lot of structure gel in your own body, but you are not directly connected to the WoW. We saw several others as well.
I get
No, but
so
here's the
tempted now
thing,
that I
right?
know about that sound
This-
effect.
He has a head, right? I don't.
Yeah, he's human. Yeah.
Right. I don't have a head. This is a quote unquote breathing human, like still living, that's been kept alive through robotics.
Exactly, and that is the important part. Kept alive by the Warden unit.
Well, we don't know if it was the Warden unit.
We see that at his neck. You see the tentacle stuff? It's very subtle, but it's there.
Oh yeah, it's on his face too. Huh.
Yeah. So we gotta
He's
understand
ghastly.
and separate that. So are you JP? What the heck? I am JP. Yeah.
Yes, he is JP. Yes.
Yes.
Who you were talking in chat before? They weren't sure if that was if you
Oh,
were also.
Yeah, that's why I was writing. It's me. Yeah.
yes,
It's me.
it's me. It's me.
Hi.
me.
It's Five Nights at Freddy's
Only
over here.
problem, it's me. So yeah, this dude obviously got repaired by structure gel, right? He was a human. He now has an artificial lung because it obviously was necessary. We have to understand
More
that
than
there's
that.
a difference between the WoW and the structure gel.
He has an
Yes.
artificial intestines. He has an artificial
Yeah.
heart. He has an artificial rib cage almost. Yeah, that's
we know
not.
we know that structure gel tends to be mechanical instead of biological, but
Well,
it combines both worlds, right?
Right, it combines both worlds, and he uses supposedly some electromagnetic waves to connect the two the organisms of the structure. So it's basically programmable metal, is the way I would
Yeah.
think about it.
And it can kind of gap the bridge. Can you say gap the bridge? No, bridge the gap.
Bridge the gap. Yeah.
I'm not a native speaker. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. All good.
It kind of combines both of them, and this makes it so incredible, interesting, and powerful. But there's a difference between the structure gel and the WoW. Yes, the WoW kind of uses the structure gel, but the structure gel is not the WoW. The structure gel can be used by anything, but it is a tool. While the WoW is an... Now, we cannot say a creature, but being. Can we say
Wow
being?
is a
It's a
fool.
collective. It's a consciousness is essentially it's a created consciousness, and that's the question of AI. That's why people get terrified of it. Is if
Yeah,
you were to create a consciousness that inherently isn't human at all, right? It has no connection to humanity at all. What would it do? How if you were so it's the perspective of the spectator. So if you were a spectator of the human race, what would you think of it? Would you think that it was worth keeping? Or would you think that it is in the best interest for other creatures for that not to exist? How would you interpret as a spectator with no skin in the game the human race, and what actions would you do if you had unlimited power and connectivity across the world and the universe potentially? And this is the reason why we're afraid of it. We want to stop it because without skin in the game, you're prone to think the worst of humanity. At least that's the human tendency, is to assume the worst. Because by
Look at
nature,
Polar
we're
Bears.
pessimists.
Look at Polar Bear's comment while I go smoking a cigarette
Cig-
and return soon.
Sounds good.
We're
I think we're-
parasites.
so that's a
If
good-
I were a spectator.
That I would say is a common argument to be made.
I would agree in the sense of the like. Well, I would say that I understand. I'm sympathetic towards that notion. Like Joe Rogan said, we have to consider that maybe we're all living on an orange and we're just a bunch of mold growing on it. Like, it's entirely possible. I did not quote that. That is, yeah. It's a very good like thought experiment. You have to ground yourself. You have to gain the perspective because if you're unwilling to question your own beliefs, you would never be able to explain your beliefs. So, as far as like the parasitic nature of humanity, you can argue that, but you could also argue maybe we're just a new form of evolution. For example, people always talk about plastic in the world. What if humans' entire purpose, it's thousands and thousands of years of developing and creating technology, its entire purpose on this planet was to make the planet have plastic on it. What if that was the reason we exist? Who are we to know that plastic's bad for the planet? I mean, there's now plastic-eating bacteria that exists on Earth. That was I don't know if it was naturally developed, or I know it was discovered. I don't think it was created in a lab, but it might have been. I don't know. But like, just because we look at things, like when we say save the planet, what does that mean?
Destroy humanity.
I mean, from an alien race, maybe that would be the best thing, but it's a question of.
Wait, I'm part of humanity.
Oh my god. This is why I can't go deep when it's just Rabbit and I. This is why having JP is so nice sometimes.
Yeah, well, like I said, this is the easiest stream that I've had to do. I didn't even have to say a single word. I'm getting hydrated and not having to spell it on my throat.
Oh, it's exploding. Alpha needs medicine.
Ooh.
Can he be sick? Interesting.
Might be sick.
Into the abyss.
How.
Take it to the Alpha in the abyss. Alpha. There's like things on the back of these things. I'm trying to like remove them and see. But the question still kind of emanates of,
Yeah.
What does it mean to save the planet?
Fair
It's
enough.
not to save the planet. It's to maintain a habitable environment for future generations and for humans to live. To save the planet is inherently a selfish notion to preserve humanity, which is what you just said, Polar Bear. Let our future generations enjoy the planet too. Like, that's fair. But did we enjoy the planet like our forefathers did? I would argue that the forefathers of every single nation had it very differently than we do. Do we kind of clamor to go back to the days and ages of like having the three dynasties, the warring states era of China? Do we want to go back to the Crusades in the medieval ages? Do we ever clamor to go back to any of those times? I would say no. I'd say a lot of people would argue, at least if you're in a first world country, that we're living in the best times that we've ever lived in. Which goes to the who are they? The people who say that we live in the best of all worlds, which is a justification for why bad things happen. And the justification is maybe bad things happen to prevent even worse things from happening. Necessary evils is another way I think of phrasing it. Squeeze me.
Look for the necessities.
Sure, environment, not the planet. But who's to say it's destroyed? What is the concept of destruction? What is the concept of being destroyed? Because we look at it from a constructionist perspective. We look at it from there was something there and now it is broken down into smaller bits. But does that necessarily mean that it was destroyed? The concept of the thing that we originally had may not be necessarily in existence, but matter, as far as we can tell, at least by current laws of physics, cannot be created nor destroyed, right? So therefore, it's only changed, not removed from existence.
Or is it?
And also there's the notion of, another man's trash is one man's trash is another man's treasure kind of idea. Like,
Oh yeah, I subscribe to that theory.
right, but I mean, what if it's not, that doesn't just apply to humans? Just because you throw away something doesn't mean that some animal doesn't want to eat it, or some bacteria doesn't want to eat it. It's just finding the optimal way to kind of navigate the line, because I would personally argue or subject myself to the thought of both extremes are bad. Well, so we change dangerously, define dangerously. Dangerous to who? Again, that inherently is a selfish claim, which is okay. I'm using words that purposefully have a negative connotation to kind of emphasize the extreme. But that's true for every notion and every single... It's sort of like the idea of tolerances, right? Like, too much tolerance leads to the destruction of tolerance, because tolerance of the intolerance leads to the intolerance growing in power and eventually overthrowing the tolerant leaders. It's mouthful, but essentially the more you allow for the opposition to build and the opposition doesn't allow for you to build, eventually when they have enough power, they'll overthrow you. We're talking about the human race, yeah. Right, exactly. And that becomes the notion. And it's okay to become like a human advocate, but you have to at least come at it from the perspective and from the argumentative point of view of, I'm doing this to save humans. But notice how that sounds.
Let me define dangerous.
Sure.
I would say that we are trashing or changing our survival environment in a faster way that we can adapt in a genetic way or in a Darwinism way of changing our genetic material to deal with that environment.
Right.
Yes.
But we would also have to pose the question of, does that also help us? Because in order to progress in every aspect, right, we have to explore the ideas that may or may not work. And that inherently runs the risk of being dangerous. Say again?
Progress means... I have a problem with the word progress there, because progress means moving forward, like...
yes. Well, what would you call progress?
Yeah, like making things better. But what we are doing right now...
Define better.
Wait a second. Yeah,
sorry.
Increasing the odds to survive, I would call better. Or have a higher life quality or something like that. And what we are right now with the green movement, with the Save the Planet movement, is like, oh my god, we are destroying the planet. No, that's not the case. The planet will survive all of our bullshit.
Yeah.
Even if we have nuclear war and delete all of the surface of the Earth will go forward. We cannot break the Earth with a few nuclear rockets. Come on.
Right, so, and even if it did, right, like, I mean, it's just a rock floating in space.
Millions years old, and there were several species that got extinct, and the planet is still living. And even if we change the climate, come on, the planet doesn't even bother. It's just a blink of an eye, right?
Well, not only that, again, we're falling to the verbiage of the planet being alive. The planet's not alive.
No.
The planet is suitable habitat for life. But
yeah.
So kind of off topic, but us as the human race, I think, are pretty lucky evolution went our way. And that is another kind of notion as well.
That comment. I love that.
Because it is very well phrased. Yep.
Yeah.
Because
it is.
It goes to the God versus man argument, where it's, what is it mean to necessarily be like a human? Did we just get lucky? Were we created purposefully, like the Pandora? What's it called? Pandemonium movie, where well, essentially what the notion was that it's like ancient aliens, but what happened was they dropped basically genetic life onto a habitable planet, and then life kind of spurred from that.
Clapping sound effects going now.
Oh, good.
Oh god, I'm so sorry, but I have the feeling that I'm a lot more chatty than I was the previous streams.
That's no problem.
Oh, good.
Ark is a lot more chatty in the previous streams.
I just got done watching like 5 episodes of a Philosophize This, which, by the way, not sponsored or anything. That's a really good, like, if you could start from episode 1 and go chronologically, he goes through a good rendition of philosophers and their thought processes, and does a good job maintaining the perspective of the era they were in.
How is it called? The series?
Philosophize This.
Philosophize This.
Yes, it's on Spotify, I think. If you have access to that,
Yeah.
I would recommend it just because, at least for me, it's been a great educational source. I don't know if everything is 100% accurate. It is, but I like the way that it's presented because he doesn't pretend to know everything. So that's a good start.
In philosophy, the core thought is discussion, and not if something is real or true or whatever, right?
Right.
It's dealing with stuff. But to elaborate on that, I'm more chatty this stream because I'm getting more used to you guys being more open to speak, and I have the feeling that I'm putting Rabbit down today because he's quiet.
No, you're not putting me down. It's more. There's a
He's
lot
got
of
inhibition.
conversation happening. Well, there's a lot of conversation happening that I like listening to, and I'm just kind of nodding. It's like, yeah, I get what you guys are saying, but at the same time, there's very little that I can interject with, or
So then tell me,
or
who
what have
are
you.
the interesting guys? Who are you listening to?
Well,
Oh.
you see, there are some other people like Otter out there, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna play these audio clips.
Strasky?
Yeah, these are
you
good.
there?
I hear you, Herbie. What's up?
I was waiting for a good moment. I have more to say, but
Look at the
I might
date.
not be around for a few days, okay?
Rally Herbert leaving the listening post? Must be important.
It is, Strask. It is.
Notice the dates. They are.
Okay then.
Yep.
Stay safe.
No, they are not, but not in order.
Well, I mean, it's 2104. Yeah. Okay. Let's go for the this
Yeah.
one.
If you
Can you
look,
hear
yeah.
us? Loud and
Yeah.
clear. Everyone all right?
We will be as soon as we make friends with the power suits.
I'm sure you'll get used to it.
We gotta befriend the power suits.
Wanted to check in before we pass the
Yeah.
last working Lumar probe.
That's actually why we are here at Omicron, because we wanted to pick up the power suit, so we don't get crushed like a can of soda.
You heard that, right?
Don't
Doesn't
worry.
that mean-
We won't forget.
All right.
Doesn't that mean that we want to like
Good luck,
become
guys.
one with the suit, not like befriend it?
Catherine said something like we can wear the power suit on top of our normal diving suit.
yeah.
Okay.
So imagine wearing a glove and then putting a glove on top of that glove.
Why does that sound sexual?
Tao, please respond.
Don't take it that way.
Herbert calling from Omicron. Please respond, Tao.
Inappropriate.
Unable to connect. Lumar relay out of range.
Yeah, I get it.
Herbert.
Like, I want to test these other sound effects, but
Unable to connect.
it's basically a
Lumar relay out
wild
of range.
card as to what it could be.
Unable to connect. Lumar relay out of range.
Strasky, are you there?
I hear you, Herbie. What's up?
Just wanted to check in. I have to go do
Outgoing
something. I
5?
might not be around for a few days, okay?
Rally Herbert leaving the
Yeah.
listening post? Must be important.
It is, Strask. Tao, please respond. This is Rowley Herbert calling from Omicron. Please respond, Tao.
Tao,
Unable
come
to
on.
connect.
Unable to connect.
Out of
Lumar
range.
relay out of range. Unable to connect. Lumar relay out of range.
Yeah. I get it.
Lumar
Interesting.
relay out of range.
Interesting. That actually is very interesting. Here, take
So
this.
what do you think about this room? I mean, there's a lot of going on here subtly. We got several audio messages. We got several notes on the wall there. What is going on here? What do you think?
Crazy people.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah. No, excuse you? There's 3 parts putting into this. So it starts off with this, where it looks like they're injecting something to a core, and the core goes critical and becomes sick, and the alpha needs medicine. I'm assuming it's either something stored in the base, or it's this black blood that they keep talking about. I'm most curious about this because it looks like this might be like an injection drip into the core, potentially. And then they triangulate it, but it's all contained inside of the abyss somehow. And there's now 3. Is it multiple?
If you would be a journalist, you would destroy this game even before it gets released.
Me? Why? What? I don't understand.
if he was a
Isn't it
journalist,
crazy how accurate he was in the first part of the game, like the first half of the game? How
Yeah.
often he directly hit it, the nail in the coffin, you know?
yeah. And he was like, this is exactly all the plot twists and things that are
I
going
mean,
on
I
with
know
it.
that the game is pretty foreshadowy, and that you
Yeah.
can, if you are a little bit intelligent, you can put these things together. But
Hey, you're
I'm
talking about my home, okay? You're literally walking into the abyss. I'm gonna probably understand the ins and outs of my home turf, alright?
Oh my god, you're so right. I'm so dumb. You're so right.
The thing that confuses me is it looks like what it's trying to do is if it's critical, it's trying to break the critical mass into smaller bits until it eventually is a bunch of smaller contained bits that kind of which, by the way, side tangent, what that reminds me of is when you have an opposition, one of the core tactics in like politics to do is to separate it into smaller groups and have them fight each other. That way, instead of having to fight
That's
one
only in
gigantic
politics.
resistance, you have a much smaller resistance that is weakened after battling half of itself.
Yeah, well, that's in project or organization as well, breaking something into smaller pieces. But,
Right.
But how do you get to that from this piece of paper? Just
What?
the separation drawing?
Yeah.
I'm confused. Because
Well, okay.
you said
What
something-
conclusion
Wait,
are you
wait.
confused about?
Wait, you said something at the beginning. What was the word you said? You opened up this paper and you said something. What did you say?
What is
I can't
this?
remember. There was a phrase. You called the left red one. You called that
Yes.
somehow. What was the noun?
Something critical. It looks.
Critical mass. You called it
Yes.
critical mass, right?
Yes.
Is
So,
that something?
context-
How you draw critical mass, and this is like a term, but visually?
So the reason why I did that in my head is because if you look at how scribbled it is more scribbled than the smaller parts. There's less lines
yeah,
in them.
I get that. I get
And
that.
so
but-
that's where the splitting it up comes from. But the only reason why it's like that, first off, the sticky note contextually is attached to this. This looks like he's quote unquote sick with it's the same as this guy over here. So this is it normally. And then there's these question marks on the medicine. And it's called the Heart of Alpha. But Alpha is now sick and needs medicine. And the sickness is making it like... It looks like a nuclear reactor that is about to explode or has some malfunction occurring within it, causing it to, like, the brighter red it glows, the closer to overheating it would be. Critical mass,
It's
essentially.
actually funny how you as an engineer look at it like on a technical perspective, because for me, this picture looks like an insanity, like an eye of some
Like an eyeball.
psychopath. Yeah,
Yeah.
like someone glaring at you, like Sauron's eye from Lord of the Rings, you know.
Which,
Um,
it's very funny how that parallels a lot of, like, there's typically two types of people. There's the people who look at it like you're looking at it, people who look like I'm looking at it. But I always approach my engineering from a philosophical perspective, so I understand exactly what you're coming from.
The eyeball
and
bleeds.
it's so interesting. I thought engineering is that technical that you have no room for emotions
Hello,
or
Kreekhoff.
or having the ability to see it in a different perspective. I would have said that if I crossed the way with an engineer, he would only be able to see it as a logical, as a problem. But
Yep.
you are talking to me about philosophy. This is
Yes.
something totally different. I'm so surprised by that fact.
Well,
you could make
there's
the argument that I'm
also-
not a great engineer. Yes, that is true.
There's-
Say that. I want
there's
to hear
also-
Rabbit's thought there.
Yeah.
Well, there's also on the right side, the orb, if you will.
Yes.
Is like
Which
its
one?
calm
This one?
state.
Oh, this one. Yes.
No, right.
Yeah, the one that looks like the
Yes.
other one, but not exploded.
Right. That's its natural state as the heart of alpha, as it says at the bottom. And then you have the injections at the top, right? That's what I was talking about with the
Yeah.
question marks that look like syringes.
But then it wakes up and goes to critical mass.
Wait, that's an interesting phrase.
But
Wake up.
We still see the syringes there. It doesn't seem like the syringes got inserted. They are still there, you know?
Or they're
Well,
empty now because there's
the
no more
other
question
ones-
marks.
Would you
Yeah,
then,
there's no more
would you
question
then
marks.
draw them still? Why would you?
Because,
because-
it woke up in the surgery area where it's being contained-ish.
So when you see a doctor's
Okay.
office, right, there's like medical equipment hanging down as fixtures that they can use
Oh, I
and
see.
or not
Yeah.
use. So like it's a fixture of the room kind of ordeal. Notice how everything's in. The thing I'm noticing though, that you're pointing it out, the bottom of this, well, maybe it's a trick of the eye. I thought it was on a pedestal, but now I look at it, it looks more like it's just in a sketched out room. And I was going to point out that here it looks less like it's on a pedestal, but rather just attached and hanging inside of the room, like on the other one.
Yeah, I
But
was
that's-
thinking it was just a
that's
shadow on the floor.
Yeah.
The bottom looks like
Interesting thought.
blood.
That's an interesting thought that you, Ark, had before. You said something about a nuclear core.
Nuclear reactor, yeah.
Hey, yeah. But you said something about core as well. And
Yes.
while this object still is referred as a core later in the game, and I was always wondering why, because I would, me as a German would describe it as a sphere and not as a core. But I think the core is just a sphere. Is just
It could be both.
No, so
centric
it's
position
different.
of
It is different. It is a
right?
sphere. It is a sphere. You're absolutely right. The reason why I called it a core is because, and this is going to be totally off topic, Gundam. In order to have any mecha battle suit ever, you must have some sort of core reactor that acts as the heart of the giant robot, right?
My God, are we talking battle mechs now?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Battle. It
There
all
we
goes
go.
back to
Oh,
battle
God.
mechs.
I gotta get some towels and some handkerchiefs now. Holy shit!
Yes. So that's why I call it a core.
Giant robots, we dig giant robots.
Oh my god, that's nostalgia to the next level. Holy cow.
Hell yeah!
So,
Nice.
but that's the reason why I called it a core, because that's what it looks like. The reactors you'll see, like the small pulse reactor you'll find inside of like Tracer from Overwatch's core temporal stabilizer.
Yeah.
That
it's
resemble it.
effectively
Or
it's
Iron
effectively
Man's-
designed. Well, Iron Man's is more of a
Ring. Toron.
yeah, more of a
Toroid.
ring. Where with this, it's more common to see, which is more in line with the idea of what a Dyson sphere is, where you're
Yeah.
encapsulating the fusion reactor of the sun, essentially, in this ball-like container to power other objects, to basically harness the fusion power.
I'm actually impressed at your description of it. From a non-technical perspective, that's not too far off of actually it. Like, it's very accurate.
But if we're talking about
Look,
reactors,
I deal with a Star Wars nerd. I know. What I'm
Yeah,
talking
okay, that's
about.
fair. That's fair.
oh yeah, that's for me. It's 2 days ago, guys. Maybe May the 4th be with you.
Oh, for me,
May
yeah.
the
And
fourth
also with
be
you.
with you.
I mean, it's only been like 18 hours from us because it's 9
Huh.
p.m. now. 21 hours, something like that.
Oh, I did a whole
this door is
stream
still
yesterday.
reactors, and we're talking
Star
about
Wars stream.
plasma and reactors, right?
Yeah.
Then
Well-
we also would need some kind of magnetic or whatever force to force that plasma into the middle, right? So the
Not
syringes
necessarily.
that you described before could be some other device, right?
Well, so this
Maybe.
is where it kind of breaks down scientifically for me, at least, because not only is our current knowledge more than likely classified, that I just don't know. Nobody who's not in the know-how would know it. B, it's so scientifically involved that I personally would not be able to comprehend it at this stage of my life because it's super technical. It is unbelievably technical.
know.
The only thing that I do know is it's probably not just some simple form of plasma, because plasma, as far as I'm aware right now, we're calling it the fourth state.
The fourth state.
What the heck? Run! Yes, the fourth state. So,
It is what I thought it was. Yes.
that aside, the fourth. So you know the three states of matter, right?
You mean like fluid, solid, and gasoline?
Gasoline,
How's it
yes. The
How's it called?
gaseous.
Gasoline.
Yes.
So
Yes.
gas. Yeah, so gas, liquid, and solid are the three.
Yeah.
Plasma is
states.
the explanation, because, like, for example, what is fire? Is it a solid? No. Well, is it a liquid? Not really. But is it a gas? Well,
It produces gas.
it produces gases and it acts like a gas.
I
However,
thought
No,
that fire is
no.
just the visual representation of the movement of energy, but not a state of a.
well, okay, but all the other things, are they not also the same? Like, what a solid is just a very slow vibration of the particles.
Run, Buddha wants to curse you.
Yeah. The liquid is just a more a more sedentary version of the gaseous state, and the gaseous state is just very fast-moving particles that are no longer connected or bound by other particles, right? So,
Oh, okay. I
what-
guess that explains why I always had a D in chemicals.
oh yeah. I mean, chemistry is not my forte either, but it is good to know some things about like the states of matter because of like battery technology will evolve due to the energy transfer through solids being better. That's the same reason why gold's a better conductor. Like the mechanical properties of metals is dictated in large part about the material's properties, and the properties are directly correlated to the states of matter that they are within, and the crystalline structures or the structures in general of materials. It's very useful to know when you're talking about like melting points and other things when you have to, create materials and stuff.
I just love the conversation with the chorus in the background. Just going, oh.
Ooh, someone lost their head.
It's like, welcome to my TED Talk.
I love that polar bear is just sometimes randomly putting a commentary and nobody
Yes.
notices until we look over there and see. Oh God! Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Solid, liquid, and gas.
But yeah, it's honestly the fourth state of matter is potentially plasma. Just like the fourth dimension of that you can move through is potentially time, but only time will tell if that theory proves correct.
Right now,
I'm
is
confused
that,
because I
until
thought
we're told
plasma
otherwise.
is just fluid.
No,
It's
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 not.
not.
Is
Could-
it
well-
not gaseous as well?
well,
It's
here's the thing.
ionized.
Well, here's the thing. Would you say that lightning bolts are liquid?
No.
they gaseous?
That right?
Nope.
Oh,
Are they
definitely
solid?
not Solid.
No.
what are they?
Yeah, and
But
it's energy.
you want an answer from me, but at the same time we have the sunlight, and that is not gaseous, solid
Right.
or fluid at
It's
all.
also plasma.
It's
Well-
another
Just to
form.
find-
Wait, what? Is it? Is
Yeah, the
Yeah,
sun itself,
in a way,
the sun
but
well, the sun itself is plasma, which
Well,
emits
yes.
light very much like fire does, and electricity. So they're all
Yes.
forms of plasma.
so the heat
plasma.
is not the physical property; it's the secondary characteristic driven by the ionization of the atoms, which is directly related to how fast the particles are moving. They're moving so fast they are generating heat, and they are ionizing based upon this is where my memory gets fuzzy. The spin of the electron. Did I remember right? Like how positively or negatively it's charged.
Okay, I tell you what. This is the second awakening. I was stumbling through my life at one point. Yeah. Suddenly, I met Soma, and I started to think all these questions this game triggered in me. Yeah. I was.
Oh God!
We
I
interrupt this
had
program.
awoken.
What?
I had awoken. Can you say that? I did
Yes.
awoken. I had
Awaken?
awoken. I had
Yes.
awaken. And then come
gonna
around
die.
and tell me this stuff about gaseous forms or plasma forms, and suddenly this is the second awakening. I want to reborn. I want to get the. I want
I
to
don't remember which way
realize
you
now. I want to realize. And now Pink Rose can actually use it. Yes, there it is. Don't lose your head because this is not a podcast. Are we exaggerating?
I'm sorry. I feel so bad. Wait, do I have to go this way? I don't even remember.
Is it bad if we agree on that this is actually enjoying ourselves a lot?
Yeah, no, I love this.
I don't know how it is for the viewers, because usually I was a viewer before all the time, and I said, yeah, I think Pink Rose was actually there. I said to Rabbit, hey, would you like to do an experiment and let me in your Discord and just talk about your gameplay? And he was like, I don't think it's a good idea, but we do it. And this came out of this. Oh my god. We are rambling and discussing. I don't know.
I love listening to it.
No, see, here's the thing, right?
Stream of my life.
I will say this. It's all dependent upon what audience you want to bring. And I'm okay with the more philosophical like type of audience because I'm part of the Abyssal Archives, right? Like my entire shtick is gathering knowledge from all across the lands and like storing it for later kind of thing.
Rose is saying that they're enjoying this.
So this is okay, cool. This is why Rose sticks around. Can you say that? Sticks around?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm over here just like I like doing funny, entertaining stuff.
Ow! I died.
What? Not you? Holy shit! This is rare.
I'm sorry. I died. Oh.
To be honest, good reaction. Most of the time, people don't realize that this is a scripted chase sequence.
Yeah.
And they just stand there and ask themselves, what did I do wrong?
Oh, really? Yeah, no. As soon as I saw it running, I'm like, but I was fine the entire way there. What do you mean?
I gotta get ready.
What is TD? What does TD mean?
Where? What?
After
TD?
the
Touchdown? What?
After the TD Rabbit had yesterday, this is baby mode streaming. Yeah. Oh god. Technical difficulties.
Run.
Wrong way.
Oh yeah, no, I don't need to run just yet.
I'm just confused. As we were talking that much, you didn't explore the room. You found something and you didn't click it.
Wait, what?
I think. You were in the herbs room, in the herbarium, or yeah, that one. No, wait a second. I'm looking at the wrong screen.
The wrong screen.
Hydroponics. It was called hydroponics, and I think you found something, but then you left the room because we were talking about something. Or maybe I'm mistaken. Did you click on it? I'm not sure.
What?
There was an audio recorder that you found in one of the drawers.
Oh yeah, we already did that though.
Oh, did we? Okay, cool.
We did. You're talking about this guy here? Yeah.
Hey, Andrea?
Yeah.
Yeah, we already did this one on the previous one, but
Do you think we could break the aggregate and structure gel?
Yeah, that was the
flattening
previous
configuration?
one. So the technical difficulties that happened yesterday on my stream.
TD, technical difficulties.
I thought
What do you want, Raleigh?
Yeah.
Can you blame me for trying to figure
I
this
was
out?
playing
I've been having
Jedi
dreams
Fallen
too.
Order, and then
I don't know
suddenly,
Oh,
without
I
warning,
know.
about
Everything from
I'd
the
say
signal
20 minutes
amplification and
into
black
the
boxes
stream,
to having a comatose
my computer
Dr.
said
Ross locked up
blue
in a glass
screen
jar.
and
We've all
rebooted.
been going a bit nuts.
Oh shit.
Tell me about it. It feels like my head's about to explode. Hypothetically speaking, could we stop
So-
Okay, now I understand. This is baby mode.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, but this has actually been going swimmingly. My computer, my connection never dropped or anything.
and even if it did, the stream would keep going.
Sorry.
Well, that and I'm just kind of sitting here
Sorry.
listening.
Existing? Yeah.
Existing. I just hit record and
Yeah.
play. You know,
It's great. This is what it'd be like if we were on a podcast and we had a guest over, right? And it was all philosophy. I would be doing
This would
all the
be-
talking.
Hold on, hold on. This would be if you have a podcast and I'm the one controlling the cameras.
Never. Nobody told me that content creation is that easy.
Well, all you need to do is have the willpower to do it. Hola, Zenitsu.
See, now I'm silent
Oh.
because my light.
Yeah.
This other light.
I had my own TDs with the stream stopping for me and continuing for others. Okay, that is
I
weird.
actually reacted to that. I thought like they were gonna start chasing me right there, and I was like, what?
I mean, you actually already went through that scene, so I can just tell you, I guess. No,
What?
I don't. I may not.
Don't
It's
do
your
it.
experience. I'm not spoiling it.
Run!
Ouch! Headache. Run.
Shut the door, Cat. Lock it up.
What's happening?
Wait.
Lock the door.
Listen.
It's locked. What's going on?
You
Oh.
don't have your own tool.
Managed to
Uh,
piss off another one of WoW's monsters.
We have everything.
how
we
long will
need,
that door
right?
hold?
Yeah. Let's get to work.
Okay.
Good
Well.
thing we got everything. Wow.
Okay.
We're only an hour left of the stream.
Is your shopping list complete? I don't know. I think so.
Yes.
Hmm?
I'll meet you there, he says.
Well, anyway, we were talking about a couple of things. There was a couple of, like, ones that I wanted to address, and I honestly have already forgotten about what we were talking about, so...
Same.
Yeah.
That happens a lot on these kinds
Well,
of
'cause
things.
a lot of it just stems from the fact that, like, it's like the human condition, and it's comes down to a lot of personal beliefs because we don't have the answers. And that's the
And
reason why we
value.
have all these ambiguity, right? That's why people have these, like, misconceptions, because if you were to take what's already known as conventional, right, then that doesn't fully explain all of the things that conventional wisdom can't explain, like suffering and evils and why certain people rule over others and why, like, it's a whole... We've taken thousands of years to get to this point of philosophy and the assumptions that we already have, and even then, you can't explain the millions of people who won't even, stop to consider these things because they won't consider if they are right or wrong.
Yeah, and then there's also the perspective of your own values. You can have a whole different opinion just because you have other values.
Or experiences. So some people,
Yeah,
like, for
yeah,
example,
yeah.
ghosts, right? Like,
Some people
Do you think-
like ghosts. What?
yeah. Well, okay, there's people who will literally say ghosts exist unquestionably. You cannot convince them ghosts do not exist. But there's other people who equally will say ghosts can't exist, but they can never provide any evidence that the ghost can never exist. It's like the Bigfoot theory as well, where it's like you can't prove it doesn't exist. You can only say that there's not enough evidence now to say definitively that it exists right now that we know
Yeah.
of, right? So
science always consists of oh shit, what is that word in English? Clues? No, not clues.
evidence.
Evidence.
Yeah. Yeah,
Science always consists of evidence, and faith always consists of faith.
Right. Well, so then that's another question, right? I was just learning about this actually. I was just learning about this myself, which is an interesting topic that I want to bring up with you. Why do you believe what you believe?
Because it was taught to me, I guess.
Okay. If it was
Education,
taught
I
to you, right? Is it because it's true?
I can't say that because it's only my perspective. For me, it is true. For others, it won't.
So this is the crux of the question is,
Yeah.
if it's true, right? Can we believe things that are not true? And the evidence to that is yes, because we can believe anything we want. We can simultaneously have people who believe that ghosts are real and also believe that ghosts are not real.
That's the
Maybe
same
because
as
it's
we
right,
had, like,
but
two streams before the guy that is sitting in the cave, looking towards one wall, but
Right.
he is trapped in that cave and he cannot move himself. But he only sees the shadows of the objects of the candle or whatever it was.
Yep,
That's
the allegory of the cave.
Perspective that I was talking about.
Right, exactly. And so that's where a lot of people will run into a fallacy is they will believe that what they believe is undoubtedly the truth because it is self-evident in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But the issue is that if you were to hold that belief that it is self-evident, you now burden yourself with the understanding you must take whatever you believe and always put it under a critical scope to constantly prove that it is right. You must always doubt that it is correct, because if it is self-evident, it will hold up to any criticism you can give it.
And that is why science is also a kind of religion. Because you believe
true.
everything that is evident.
This is
But that
crazy.
is your only
Don't
belief.
worry, it'll work.
It is like if you believe in
Yeah.
God, you only believe in hyper,
Well, so
how's it called? Ah, fuck it.
So that's also the triple Venn diagram of Voltaire, I think it was, someone around his time, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, someone like that, where they have like belief, truth, and value, I think it was. And some things can be I don't remember what the third one is. I think it was belief, it was truth, and it was something else. I would have to look it back up. But I was listening to this, and essentially the core of like some things you can believe that are just absolutely not true. Other things you can believe that have truth in them. And then there's certain things that are able to be self-evident in the sense that it will always be true and you will never necessarily need to worry about it. But a lot of people believe things because they want to believe them.
Yeah, or because they get taught. I mean, look at the Santa Claus, right?
But yeah.
Children and Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's something that's also that falls where it has belief yet no truth in it. I think it was no
Make sure
evidence.
it's all bunched together with the structure gel.
Ew.
I did it too early. Ooh, look at that.
All right, try activating the suit from
Whoa.
the terminal again.
Okay, at this point we should stop the discussion because now something important in the game happens and we should just feel that. Comes from a mile away, but still interesting.
Yeah, I think I already know.
I
Oh
know
wait,
that.
oh I missed it. Something said fail. Oh wow.
Oopsie.
I can't believe
Oopsie.
we're doing this.
It will be fine.
Death.
Then why don't we put you in the suit?
Restore.
I was going to suggest that if you refused.
You'd go
Oh.
without me.
I need to do this, Simon. This is
I don't
important.
trust you.
I need to launch the Ark.
You'd really do it. Change body.
Yes, if you want to stay here, I'm not going to stand in your way. I don't want to tell you what to do.
What would it be like before? Close my eyes and then...
And then open them again.
All right, let's do it.
Thank you, Simon.
Yeah.
Go sit in the pilot seat in the next room. You might need to boot it up.
Simple.
Why do I not
as
trust
that.
this?
What is this? Define this.
Yeah. What are you not trusting?
Oh, just
The
go into
process?
the electric
Or
chair
Captain?
over here. Don't worry about
you
it.
thinking that you'll just kind of be all sad and lonely?
Oh, okay. I didn't know what. I think I know what's gonna happen. Man. Ooh, what is this?
We need to loop back the activity manifested by your current Cortex chip, run it through the amplifier, feed it into the new chip, and then make sure it's synced.
You lost me halfway there.
You don't really need to understand it. Just make them line up.
Yeah. Oh, right. That. So that we have less.
Oh, thank you. This is the first Soma stream where I see where someone actually reads what's standing underneath these buttons.
Yeah. I'm offset by a little bit. There we go.
Just a teensy tiny bit. There you go.
That's everything. You can climb
I'm
into the pilot seat now.
I also know what the words mean. How tall do you think Santa is?
So please,
Yeah,
7'5".
I really feel weird now. That question
go
seems
sit in the pilot
so
seat.
serious. What the heck? What should I answer to that?
Wait, what?
I mean, his heart is
Santa-
tall as fuck, right?
Santa
It's hard.
is totally
Well, okay, you can always believe that someone named Santa exists. I'm sure there's somebody who's in Santa, Florida, or Santa,
We were
Michigan.
referring to Santa Claus.
Well, does Santa have claws?
I mean, I've met
Pretty-
a person whose last name was Claus. Are they a descendant of Santa Claus? Good
It's
old Saint Nick.
plausible.
Exactly. I feel like I'm about to get a 404 error the second I sit in this 303 chair.
What is it? 404?
Page not found.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
you
you know
mean
on
the HTML code,
websites. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about any discomfort. This should be over soon.
Over?
But with the most expensive camera in the world.
Wait.
No.
That's the same at the start.
Steal their souls.
Yep.
In this case,
And
they'd
the
be
same
right.
comment.
And the camera steals your souls. But is it trying to correlate souls to consciousness? Oh, I'm here now. Nice.
Ta-da! You did
But am I
it.
really?
There must be something wrong. Can't you run a
What?
diagnosis or something?
That's not me. Oh, it is what I thought. Okay.
No, I think
I knew it.
Why was it still talking?
Why was it?
Catherine, why was he still talking?
that's how it works.
What do you mean?
You know it's not magic.
Wait.
You were copied. The sleeping Simon in the seat was copied, and now you are here, just like Simon lived on in Toronto.
God damn you, Kath. 2 Simons? There can't be 2 Simons.
What did you think would happen?
That you were gonna take
can't
my
be.
mind and put it into another body, like a brain transplant.
I'm sorry, it wouldn't work that way.
You realize
What
how
brain?
messed up this is?
Please, I didn't mean to upset you.
How did you expect me to react to this shit?
Please stop.
You're fucking disgusting.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Calm down, me. Jesus.
Just sleep for a while. It's
Hold
okay.
your horses.
And then what? Wake up in this fucking nightmare again?
Yes.
All alone? So cruel.
Exactly.
Well, what do you want me to do with him? Make friends? Let him know that we have to leave him behind when we go into the abyss?
What if he didn't need to wake up?
You'd do that?
Maybe.
There. I set it up for you. Hit the switch if you want to drain his battery. He'll die
His?
within a minute. I'd rather not stay plugged in any longer.
Oh,
funny
did,
that she
did they just
says-
inject himself?
Yeah, she's.
It's funny that she says his, but Simon refers to him as it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very I understand now what you mean.
What?
Yeah.
How I was like
Yeah.
3 chapters ahead because
Yeah.
I'm also curious to see how blue I could have gotten
Be friend.
myself.
I mean,
yes,
yes,
Catherine, be friends.
Yes.
I think you hit the
are
switch.
you are way too much ahead. But even if you weren't, of course, some parts of the game really are foreshadowing itself. But
Yeah.
still, I like that as soon as you hit the point, the topic changes. That even if you know
Yeah.
what's happening, the game still keeps you involved. Keeps you
Yeah,
interested.
engaged. I got you.
engaged.
Um,
I think you hit the
So-
switch as Polar Bear. I think we should.
I-
talk
I-
about this.
Polar,
Do you-
we're not on the same side on this game at all.
Why?
My
Also,
brother,
the reason-
our arc has been trying to do a peaceful run and not
Yeah, but
kill.
why did he
as
kill so many at the beginning?
No?
You killed the robot that was connected to the power station, power plant
Nope.
computer. You did.
No.
I was there. You did.
What power plant computer?
The
Oh,
power
oh,
computer
oh,
Where you
I know
first
what you mean.
contacted Catherine, you pulled both
Yeah.
cables.
Yeah, you
and-
touched the butthole. and
Well, no,
Yeah,
that was
because
because
the
I
robot
had
wasn't-
to.
No. I'm talking about. It was 1 second after the butthole.
Oh.
Only because you think you had to doesn't mean that you have to. You know.
Well, you know.
I'm trying to think
Oh my
back
God,
because
option.
the one
it
where
was
it
Talking
was
about the robot that was not responding to you at all, but said she needed it. Remember?
Yeah.
yeah,
at
I
the
know what you're talking about.
very
The-
beginning.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
we
where the turbines
talked a
were.
lot for the streams.
Yeah. the
Yeah. Because that was like a month ago. He's sleeping. He won't feel a thing. That's true. But I'm the reason why I'm disagreeing on this one is purely because I'm trying to go for a run where I don't intentionally
Destroy.
murder anybody, quote unquote.
Well, you want to do the pacifist run here.
Right, more or less. I will admit that maybe I didn't do it correctly 100%, but I will say that if I was this person, right, quote-unquote person, first off, we can make the argument that he won't feel a thing, yes, because he's not going to feel anything anyway. The closest thing that he will have is a perception of pain, but it's nothing that's actual, like, nerve endings. It's a, well,
Come on.
it's a dead
I
body.
would say that's the same. It's like a sensory output. It's like it's feeling.
Well,
It's the
there's a
same,
question, right? It's the equivalent of torturing the soul instead of actually physically harming the body, right? Because as you said, phantom
pain
pain.
is torturing the soul.
Well, so if it's the consciousness, right? We're under the assumption that the consciousness is the soul, and that those phrases are interchangeable, even if we don't necessarily agree with that, because that as a premise also is a something that's established by the game as yes. If you were to move the consciousness from this body, you could copy it 100%. You're essentially copying a soul and pasting a soul. That's what it's essentially saying, I would argue. And if you go under that
The base is
assumption,
even smaller. I mean, I would say the base is even smaller. Pain is just an electric signal transferred to your, let's say, consciousness or core or brain or whatever.
but if you break it down that small,
Well,
To make
You're not-
yourself feel in a specific way, so you react in some specific way, like going around that obstacle that hurts you or whatever.
well, here's the thing with that line of thought. To me, that's more instinct, because that does not translate to experiences per se.
Why not? Wouldn't
well,
you say
okay.
that if you get hurt
Experiences-
multiple times
well-
at the same situation, that you avoid that situation? That is experience.
You would have gained experience, yes, and you would have gained some level of muscle memory, which are two separate things as well. And the electrical impulses that go to your muscles kind of go with a subconscious, if almost on its own kind of thought process, where you might not be thinking at all about it.
I think we're
So-
diverging from the point, though. I think the ultimate issue I take with it is the notion that if we break this thing down to its most fundamental level, and then use that as a basis for this other thing that's not broken down, you're, in my opinion, comparing apples to oranges. Just because the pain receptors in the brain are receiving the signal called pain, right? Now we're having there's this buffer that we're missing here. That buffer is the interpretation of the consciousness of what that pain means, and that consciousness is the going back to the fundamentals of all the collective experiences being brought together to create a conclusion by causal and effect.
And all of that comes down to this one point of, should he stay or should he go?
Wait a second. Why do we talk about pain in the first place? We are talking about killing this thing or leaving it alive. Why do we talk about pain?
Right. Well, the reason why we're talking about it is because of Polar Bear's initial statement of he won't feel a thing. And it's like...
Oh, yeah. True.
So the question is, would it feel anything? Well, the answer is, does it feel anything at all?
Are you
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
the
you're
question
seeing
is
that?
more important of what do we feel doing this? Isn't that
Right.
more important?
But the question is...
Well-
so he goes back to the other question. Is this person
It's
a
your
human?
choice.
Oh, no, I've already chosen. We're just discussing because I love the fascination of the concept. Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Is this
Maybe?
person
No,
what?
no, I'm
Human?
not
I don't even know if that is a question, because I don't care if it's a human or if it's
might need to pick up
an
Catherine.
animal.
Okay, but weren't you just making a point about saving humans earlier?
Did I?
Yeah, but on a different topic of like world destruction and saving humanity and stuff like that, coming from a selfish perspective of you're saving humans for the sake of saving humans, not the planet. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that
a
was
similar
not
thing
my
here,
point,
right?
though.
We're under the impression that these things with consciousnesses and souls are the equivalent of these humans and they're worth keeping. But if you now have the boundary of, well, it's not an actual human, like, why do we need to consider it being a human?
I didn't
you can
say
draw.
that this is. I didn't say that this is not an actual human, and because for my own personal opinion, this feels as real as if this would be a human, if this would be a robot, if this would be an animal, even if this would be a toy that kind of talks. I would feel bad for killing it. The point I was discussing earlier was the environmental fact, and I'm not sitting on
Well,
that
yes.
trigger directly. Now I do.
Well, okay, here's the thing. And the environmental facts, what I was bringing up was the emotional, the pathos or the ethos behind the concept of the environmental effects, not necessarily the environmental effects itself. That is a supplemental thing to the actual notion or the driving force behind why we care about those environmental effects, right? So the driving force is what we're talking about, because it's the same driving force when it comes to this. Where
I don't see it like this, because if
Okay.
I kill this Simon sitting in that seat, it does not have an effect other than psychological on myself, but it does not have an effect on the environment. If I kill...
Yeah, it does.
If I kill the planet, or whatever I want to call it, if I change the climate of this planet and it gets incredibly hot, we all die. This has an effect on our whole race. If I kill this individual, it's not. It does not.
But okay, but first off, this is, as far as we can know right now, outside of corpses that are being kept alive as best as they can be by the WoW, the only thing resembling a human to begin with on this planet left. This is literally murdering the entirety of the known human race outside of Catherine and my second self, my new self. So
Well,
this is a third of the population being murdered here.
Does it matter if we kill the first one? I mean, it's still the same number then.
No, you increased the entire population by 50%, and now you want to reduce it by 33%.
Okay.
Okay, you're cheating right
So-
now just because it's percentage. It's the
Well,
same,
I mean,
same amount
it's still 1
before
for
and
1.
afterwards if you kill it.
Yeah, but it's still 1 for 1 is what you're saying.
It
If
was
anything, I
2
steel
before,
manned it.
3. Yeah, you are cheating there with the
How?
percentages.
I'm steel manning it. I'm making it better by
guys,
showing the percentages.
If we're talking about
Rose-
population, we shouldn't talk about percentages, but absolute numbers. Here
Well,
you
then
go.
it's 1 for 1 instead of 50 to 33. It's better when it's for my case that it's actual numbers in this instance.
Only better if you talk about percentages again.
No. It's better if it's numbers for me because you're saying, we got a new person, we can kill the old person. So for every new person, we just murder the old one.
Not for every, just for this case. You
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying with the percentages.
Rose brought up a very
Okay.
interesting
I don't
point.
say kill the
Okay.
whole planet just because the same number. Yeah, please, Rose's comment.
Yeah.
Rose said that they would save it from being lonely and pull the plug. Honestly,
Well, so that's the question with the other ones. This is the reason why I'm not doing it. Because it's like the very first, the second one, I guess, that we encountered, the one that was outside thinking it was a part of the arc already.
Robin Bass.
Should we murder
Yes,
that
Robin.
one as a mercy killing kind of thing? And
Too
it's
much
like,
back
Did
and
not,
forth,
right?
yeah.
and we did not. We did not.
So the way I see it, the mind of a human is very resilient. Them being lonely really would only be there for as long as they perceive themselves to be lonely. So if anything else, there's a good chance that they could go crazy.
Well, I mean, on top of that, if they really cared about that, right? They could open that door.
Break their way out.
Yeah, and then there's a clicker on the other side. So, like, if
there's
they
also-
truly wanted to.
There's also, if you somehow leave that door unlocked that you're looking at right there,
Yeah.
they could either go back to the other robots that you left alive,
Or just
jump into
go
the
back to the
abyss.
Earth. Or go to the Earth, like the actual
Or
like
go
surface.
to the Earth.
Yeah.
See what's left of it. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that could happen instead of just being stuck in this room.
I mean,
Right,
can
exactly.
I extend the discussion for a third option? I mean, we are talking about keeping the
Sure.
thing alive or killing it, right?
Yep.
I was keeping.
Well,
it
draining
alive.
the battery or not draining the battery, as that's the two extents of my choices in this game.
What if there's a third question, like, are we able to decide? Who are we that we can judge about this life, if we call it life?
Well, that's the question. Is it life?
Are we God? Are we God to decide, or what?
But that goes
Yeah,
back to the
that-
original
that-
question is what is life, right?
I
Because
don't think that it matters if we call it alive or what, because if we don't call it alive, why don't we ask that question? Why don't we
But
just hit the button? But
in
it's-
order to-
sometimes something keeps us from pushing the button because we value it, even if it's alive or not. Something value is there. It's something of value, right? Something that
Not
that
necessarily.
keeps us from just doing it.
I understand where you're coming from because the value, what you're speaking of, is not necessarily the base notion of value. Where he's not talking about like there's some sort of number associated to it. It's more of a personal thing where we internally value something psychologically
Moral.
that doesn't that a moral value that doesn't necessarily exist. It doesn't have any tangible ability or anything like that. You can't measure it. It doesn't exist in the physical realm. It is
Yeah,
purely
it's funny
a
that
moral
something works
construct.
that doesn't exist.
Do I say again?
It's funny that something can work that doesn't even exist.
Well, that's the whole
again,
notion
again the
of
question of perspective, which is moral.
right. And again, this is also a lot of like ethical questions on the assumption that this simulation, essentially, which is what the video game is even possible physically, because we don't know if a consciousness would operate this way when it's thrown inside of a body like that, or if it would operate like it was inside that bull robot, where they just mindlessly wander around in their own fantasy land and have absolutely no idea that reality is not at all what they're perceiving. It's what's that happy place, We Happy Few? All people that take the pill, the happy pill, everything looks all fine and dandy and roses, but like in reality they're like cannibals eating their own or something. And if you stop
They're
taking the pill, you see the real
and stuff.
Yeah, you see the reality if you stop taking the pill. But it's like fine dining if you don't.
Red pill all the time.
Yeah.
I want to stay in that simulation.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like the Matrix, right? I mean, to a much greater extent on the Matrix front, but like it's the same thing here, where it's like, what does it mean to be human? And is humanity that great, right? That's the other question. Just because we have a consciousness and are human, is that mutually exclusive, or is it only because we've only seen humans that, as the ones with consciousnesses, that we say that, right? If we encountered another being, another intellectual life form, right? We would no longer necessarily be bound by the notion that only humans have consciousness. That's what this body is. This is not a human anymore. This is a corpse with some structured gel tying some robotics to it and holding it together like some glue with the WoW kind of intertwining on it, right? Like, it's not a human anymore.
We could also see it in a different way. We could also see it selfishly, like, I don't care if this is a consciousness, if this is a human, or whatever. What if I have to return to this station? Could I need some help?
Yes.
Well, another thing.
But would it help me? Because notice how I reacted. I was upset. Would it react the same way if it? Because he didn't realize that I was talking in separate. He just wanted to sleep.
Yeah, because Catherine sent him to, right?
Right. So when he sees me again,
she didn't, and that is actually a hidden, very, very strange thing. Catherine doesn't say to you, you will sit down at this chair, you will feel a little sleepy, and then you awake at the next body. She didn't tell anything about that. Suddenly, we hear two voices of Simon, and then suddenly one of them shuts off, which for me means that Catherine
was it intentional?
Intentionally put him to sleep just to shut up. You know?
But why didn't they do it first?
Yeah, true.
Why didn't they just put him to sleep first and then wake up the second Simon, and he would never have heard it and he would never have questioned it?
And before we got any answers, she just plugs out because it's easier for her?
I can just leave her here.
I don't know, man. You can just leave her, but then you can't leave the room.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, you could try to leave her.
I kind of wanted to.
But now that we discussed so much, what is your decision?
Oh, I'm leaving. I already stated, like, for this playthrough, I'm making that choice.
Ark has made up their mind.
Oh, yeah. I love discussing these things because they bring up deeper questions, and they could potentially change my mind, but, like, if I were to... Okay, here's the reality, right? If I were necessarily to choose in my own playthrough on my own, like, as if I wasn't following some strict rules, I would leave him. 100%. And the reason I would leave him...
Or leave him dead?
As is now, is the way that I'll phrase it. And the reason why I would do that is because it is not my decision. It is not up to me to judge the actions of others. If they break on their own, they are now a new being. This is not me. This is someone who was once me. I shared their thoughts. I was essentially a twin, but I am no longer this person. What they decide to do with however they interact with experiences, that's on them, and it's not my right to go in and stop this person unless they are a direct threat to myself. That being said, you can extend that further, but I don't. I extend it at the actual actions of the individual.
I strongly disagree with the fact that you said that this was once you. Actually, the whole time you played this game was not you playing the game, but looking at memories. Your body is only like 1 or 2 minutes old. You have been this body all the time. And everything that you experienced before was not you, it's just memories copied from that dude sitting on the chair. Think about that.
I have, but that's the question of when does the consciousness diverge, right? Do you not, as an entity, right? As just a simple entity, a creature. It's like the question of Omnics in Overwatch. When Omnics are created, they cannot... So an Omnic is a robot that has sentience. And there's a big war in the Overwatch universe about whether or not they're just plain dumb robots or if they're actual living beings. And so there's a lot of like intellectual thinkers that come from the Overwatch universe in the Omnic side of things, that promote what?
That was for JP and Abyss to hydrate. They have been talking the most. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I've been hydrating this entire time.
Hydrate.
Anyway, long story short, they're robots that get discriminated against purely because they're not human. And the entire notion of them is that they can't reproduce. They're envious of humans because they can reproduce and pass on their knowledge. But for an Omnic, all of their knowledge is created the moment that they become them, and it loses all value and meaning the moment they die. If they die and are brought back, they are now a totally new Omnic, even if they have the same exact personality. That is the philosophy of Omnics, and they are discriminated against and treated as if they are just some bucket of bolts, right? But at what point do they start, right? Is it the second that they gain consciousness? Because in that universe, that's when the beginning of their life happens. But they go through the same stages as humans of, like, you know, rebellious phases as they're slowly learning about stuff. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more than just that, where, like, they have this creature. They have this god that they refer to as the Iris, which gives them magical properties of healing people by putting an orb on them and making people take more damage, weakening them essentially by putting an orb on them. But
we came from robots to gods to magic. What the heck is that game?
I mean, literally, one of the characters is named Sigma. His entire ability set is revolving around the fact that he went crazy and explored the universe and explored the depths of a black hole. And like Zenyatta, who's the Omnic in question I was talking about, literally is like, yeah, all my powers come from the Iris. And Sigma just turns like, oh, the Iris, we've met. Yes. It's like, excuse me? You've met God? What? So, like, that's the notion you're bringing here where, okay, so you are born now. All your consciousness before that, you are 1.5 minutes old. There's nothing else that happened, and from now on until you die, you can't reproduce, you can't change who you are, your consciousness is in this body, and that's it. The issue I have with that notion is, isn't that same for humans? No, you couldn't, because then you create a whole new Omnic that's born at that moment. That's not you. That's not an offspring of you.
Well, that's you reproducing. It's now another... because it's no longer...
By definition, it is not.
By definition, it is.
Why is that not reproducing?
Because reproduction is a biological term. You would have to create a new term, which would be copy and pasted, more or less.
Why?
Because biologically, if you reproduce, it can either be asexually or bisexually, and you will create a new life grown from 2 or 1 individuals.
You would be splitting yourself
biologically.
Mentally.
Mentally is different. That's a copy and paste.
You would essentially be building another body.
Right, it would require a different word.
And then you would okay, so in a assembly line for a factory, when you create an object and then you copy it and over and over again, that's called reproducing it.
Is it?
Well, it's called a production line.
Well, it's a production line, but you're reproducing the
I may have a native language problem here. Why is it called reproducing? Why is it not called...
Because
it's replicating.
Because
there's multiple words for the same thing.
Okay, I'm in. Yeah.
You're producing again.
That's
right.
Why. Reproducing. Yeah, it sounded like
it's more accurate
to create something new, you know? Recycling. Right. That's what I was thinking of.
English is dumb. There's a lot of words that have the same meanings, but also have same words that have different meanings. And this is where the barrier becomes, because it's like when you talk about reproduction in the sense of having offspring, right? Could you say that an Omnic-like being that's created from the mentality of a human is able to reproduce in the conventional manner? And the answer is, well, it's not conventional, but technically speaking, there is a manner in which they reproduce. Now, again, it would be a different word.
By definition, brother, by definition, reproduce, the very first one is produce a copy or representation of. That is the first definition of it. I Googled it.
See? was
No, that's
just
fair.
kidding.
The second one is
hey, call
create
him.
something very similar to meow.
Right.
Thank you.
But again, the reason why
especially in a different
the
medium or
reason why I
context.
would hesitate is because of the implications, and the reason I'm hesitant because I don't normally like implications being attached to things. I don't like connotations because I think words are words and they're meant to communicate. They're not meant to have a feeling necessarily attached to them. Although I know that that is an unrealistic perspective, it is simply what I choose to encourage because saying things accurately and a lot of times is way more important, way more effective than mincing words in order to try to skirt a definition. Only time that you should mince words, in my opinion, is if the words don't adequately describe the feeling, emotion, or reality that is trying to describe. In this instance, I would say that that's one of those cases because it's the notion behind it, right? Like an omnic being born, or I'm calling these things omnics. I know I'm like coining the phrase from Overwatch, but essentially that's what they are. They're just robots. Essentially, they're corpses. Like they're organic robots, sure, but like more or less they're a robot. And they have a consciousness.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you created a new life. Essentially, they are now separate beings.
Are they alive?
If anything else. Yes, I would say so.
Why?
Just because of their sentience.
So sentience equals life.
It is a portion of it that is.
Are foxes alive?
Important.
Well, okay, if it's a portion of it, do I meet all the criteria to be alive?
And
as
I do
this
believe
entity?
that foxes are sentient.
You lost me on that one. I don't think you're using the word sentient correctly.
Yeah.
Back to Google.
It's not like a rock.
It's not like a rock. That's true. It is a breathing organism, but the definition of alive, as we know it in biological terms, without these entities to kind of compare against, we deem it to be things that require the necessity to eat, require the necessity to reproduce, and forget what the other criteria was because like plants, right? They're alive. We consider them to be alive. Why? Because they reproduce and they require sustenance and they can die in that sense. But it's not specifically death. It's like things you have to prevent death with, which is like clothing, shelter, water. I need to drink, need to eat, etc., etc. Biologically,
Well,
those
definitions. The definitions for living are absolutely horrendous.
Okay, guys,
Well-
I'm taking a smoking break because before we meet my favorite scene in the game, I want to make sure that I'm not hydrated, but refilled with nicotine.
You're stressing him out way too much.
Yeah, the discussion is good, but it is exhausting.
Yes, it is, as
Yeah.
most philosophy is. Woo.
Don't
I
go
had the light of
outside.
God here. Holy cow.
I'm in
Okay.
so I'll be right
So hit
back.
me with the definitions of living.
All right, JP.
Me?
So the definitions of
Oh,
no,
right.
I got it.
I'm
brought
gone.
up. You can go on your break.
It's gonna be. Close your ears.
So
Go for it.
living.
Yeah.
Number one as a noun, an income sufficient to live on, or
What?
the means of earning it. That is the first definition of living. Like-
Okay. Sure, financially living. Sure, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well,
Or slang.
Yeah, to basically pay for your stuff. Anyway, the
To earn a
pursuit
living,
of a
yes.
lifestyle of the specified type. Those are the nouns.
Yeah, so
Then you
so
got the
those
adjectives.
yes, so those two make sense in the sense of well, one of them seems like more like an action. You earn a living. I guess that would be a noun, I
Well,
guess.
that's
The
a
other
noun.
one is what I do for a living. Yes, that's the terminology they would
Yeah.
use.
For tomorrow, I am baking again. If I have the ingredients.
Someone's
All-
baking bake.
I love baking. It's a good distraction from depressing thought. I
Yes, I agree. I actually
Yeah.
just bought a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna be baking bread soon. Keto bread, in fact.
agree. Ooh,
I'm missing one ingredient, but I have to order it online because I looked over the entire store and they had it, but they didn't have the correct version of it. It's called Silic Husk Powder. That's a discussion for later why I have to do that, but it's very
Yeah.
interesting. Anyway, continue with living. What
right.
are the verbs?
So, adjective, living. So the first, yeah, I got. Okay,
Might be better to do
technically,
alive.
First and only. Well, the first and only definition of it is alive. But then
Yeah.
there's-
Okay, there you go. Look up
there's
alive,
other things
define.
down below. So of a place used for living rather than working in.
Yeah, it's a dwelling. The living
of
is a dwelling.
Of a language still spoken and used, and then literary, of water,
Oh, so living water. Yes, that.
pertinently flowing. Yeah.
So things
then
that are
live.
in perpetuity and not stagnant.
Live. All right, so I'm gonna go and do alive.
I know some things.
Oh yeah. So the alive. So the first one for this adjective is of a person,
Gotta take a
animal, or plant living, not dead. It's like that's why
by
I
the-
ended
yes.
up looking up what is living.
So
And
go
it's
ahead, go
like,
ahead and say, go ahead and read that again.
living is alive.
No,
So
yeah.
the first definition of alive is
Yes.
of a person, animal, or plant living and not dead.
So look up the word person. What does person mean?
Oh boy. Well,
Or
let's
better.
go to the second definition first.
Let
Let me
okay,
go to the
okay.
second definition. Let me go through the
Yes.
definitions.
I cannot
So then
open
we got
blockers now.
number 2. You got of a person or animal, alert and active, animated.
Alert and
number
active.
3. Yeah, alert and active, animated. Of a person or animal, as well. So would you
okay.
say that your consciousness in your mind is of a person or animal?
Well, that's the question. Is the definition of right? So I know I'm getting technical here, but it does matter in this case because of the usage of the word of person
Right.
is different than meaning from the person. It's not from the person. It
Well, it
is
is from the person.
Well, it's asking about it physically, right?
Of
'Cause-
a person or animal, alert
Right.
and active.
But it's not
animated.
from the likeness of a person or animal. It is of the person or animal, or of person. So
Right.
of
For a
person
moment,
would, in my head,
thought I was hearing living is a lie. That's what I mean.
yes, it is a lie.
So number 3, here, the third definition of the 4, is aware of and interested in, responsive to. So always alive to new ideas.
Okay,
is
well that's
the
a
example.
different take. Yeah, that's not necessarily defining what it means. I think what better would be after you read this fourth one to look up the criteria to be alive.
Swarming or teaming with. So in the spring, those cliffs
the
are
fish.
alive.
It's alive with fish or bacteria.
The examples for the other 2, the second definition is Ken comes alive when he hears his music played.
Okay, so that's that's what I was thinking. It's more of a description of a person rather than saying it comes from that person. Of person would mean like that person being in an action. He becomes energetic. He becomes like his eyes light up and he's brimming with energy. He's come alive. It's of a person or animal to be like active and playful or interested is another way of thinking of it.
All right, so from Merriam-Webster instead of just Google. So number 1, having life, not dead or inanimate. Number 2.
Well, okay, but look up the criteria of that.
Well, again, I was that.
Yes.
No,
like the words.
answer.
No, look at the words. Criteria to be alive.
Criteria to be considered alive.
Yes.
Living things
Welcome
have
back.
a variety of characteristics that
How
are
did you know?
displayed to different degrees. They respire, move, respond to stimuli, reproduce, and grow, and are dependent on their environment.
Right. And so that's the question here. Am I dependent on my environment? You could argue that. Do I grow? Yes. Physically, no, but I can grow emotionally.
Mentally, you do. And
right.
Mentally, yeah.
So you
do
could
you
argue.
reproduce?
Yeah. Experiences, right?
Right. But we're mincing words in order to make sure we agree on the definitions.
Well, okay. So respire. What is respire?
To breathe.
Respire sounds like realized.
Yeah. Which
Okay,
also
well,
I think
if
that adds to
respire
it.
is breathe. Well, we do breathe.
Yep.
Listen, we're breathing.
Yeah, I know. They added that to the game purposefully. Yep.
Yeah, we move. We respond to stimuli.
Yep.
We reproduce because we're in a reproduction of ourselves. We're a separate being from the other person that's sitting in that chair.
Yeah.
We are effectively their child.
I don't know. Our parent.
No, that's the thing. He's right, technically speaking.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, but isn't this equivalent because we got copied?
It is effectively.
We are reproduced.
Hold on. It is effectively Hold on.
Let it speak.
It is effectively asexual reproduction, very much like a sponge.
Yeah.
Yes, or a worm, I guess.
Or worm.
Yeah, but then you had to question: are those alive? And the answer right now, we would say, yeah, a worm's alive. It's alive. The other thing is the last one though, the growth, right? Because by definition, the growth for the criteria of alive is used typically in the physical sense. Every creature that we describe,
nebulous in this.
In this, for us, right, as a robotic organ, right, or robotic entity.
Yeah, you want to say organism, huh?
Yeah, because I mean, if we're held by the structural gel, and that's controlled by the WoW, it's very biomechanical, and that bio is what really throws the monkey wrench into my thought. Because if I think of it like an Omnic, right, it's pure mechanical in that sense. It's all circuitry. This is not all circuitry. This is.
Well, you also got to remember that part of that is a corpse.
I'm just stumbling about something. You just said we are consisting of course, a robot head and a female body, which
and a male consciousness.
Which we do again because we just inhabited the body of Riley Herber. Again, a female body, and the structure. And you said it's controlled by the WoW.
Well,
but are we sure about that? Because if we look at the other bodies that the WoW is taken care of, they are actually all connected to the WoW and, let's say kept hostage, right? And we are not.
Well, so here's the thing.
Because I think that's very important.
Well, they already described that.
I would say it's because we didn't touch enough of the floating buttholes.
Well, I think it's more of we got the structural gel that was uncalibrated.
Okay, cool. Okay, you got it.
Yeah, the uncalibrated ones. Yeah, the uncalibrated ones were the ones that they had to remove the coding from the WoW. Specifically, that's what it was. And if we touched more of the buttholes, we would receive the coding from the WoW more than likely.
Oh, hi, Sweet Tooth.
At the same time, we don't have a physical connection to the WoW like all the tentacles.
Go to the stairs.
Right, and this new body would have cleansed me of all the stuff that I touched anyway. So it's another, you get to see...
We're being told to go to the stairs.
Go to the stars.
Or stars. Go to the stars.
Go to the stars? I can't. My home planet, I can't see them.
Sweet Tooth says, "Hi, Catherine, Simon, Imogen Reed. Go to the stars."
I don't know if you noticed, but this is actually kind of a quote that we already discovered at Theta outside. There was this message, "Eternity among the stars."
Which is, the Ark, sending it to the stars, I see.
Let's go to the stars.
All right, we're continuing.
Deeper underwater.
Yes, let's continue. So
considering we're almost out of time.
We let it live. Let's let it live.
I knew you.
I found it very creepy to having someone around that is like me, and I killed it in my first place.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
really?
Thinking about this, if you let it alive, it's kind of mean because you take Catherine with you. How should that Simon be able to leave that room? And even if it does, wouldn't the monster be staying outside there? But
here's the thing.
Anything hasty, could you just kill yourself, please? Yeah, I know this is a very strange request. Could you go backwards? Because the game just saved. You don't lose any progress. Could you just go...
wouldn't it auto-save?
It just auto-saved.
Well, I mean, wouldn't it auto-save if you do the big event?
I can't.
I pointed this out.
Okay, you can't go back.
Outside, and you asked me to say it again. Can you just straight outside of this building.
Oh,
Follow
like
the path straight, like the red lines there. No, the other way.
No,
The
no, no,
red
go
light-
back, go back.
Yeah.
Red lights.
That is the wrong path, but it's actually incredible interesting how detailed the developers intended this death sequence to be. If you just go down there, you will kill yourself, but it's incredibly interesting. The game just saves so you don't lose any progress.
oh, so go here and then just walk down.
Yeah, because there's nothing under it, you just fall into the abyss.
Would you still pass on with the new body?
What do you mean?
Isn't this what you need to do to actually advance in the game?
No.
No?
No.
All right. Well,
It's a bad ending. But it's
Okay,
incredible.
so I should do this.
Oh,
do it.
just jump down here. I think
Okay,
it's an experience
we're-
worth taking.
No. Whoa!
Oh, listen.
Ooh, there's a cave over there. Oh.
Here I
That was Catherine with the black blood.
Oh, you saw something. It's actually not Catherine, but the face of the first human that you inhabited.
Oh, the first body or my body?
Yeah.
So not this one, but the one that we left alive.
Yeah. If you look at the footage in slow-mo, then it's incredible disgusting. To be honest, it's really creepy.
Yeah, it definitely is.
But I was more pointing out to the sound effects that you get there while jumping down.
Yeah.
There. You hear the pressure rising and the optics implode.
I didn't like it. I really didn't like it.
Even then, surviving that until the pressure really crushes down your chip, I think that's really well made.
Yeah, that was interesting. I would say that. Yeah, I would not do again. I mean, I would, but no.
Not recommended.
0 out of 10. Not recommended unless you want to die. Oh, good.
10
There's one. There is a single one that has the safety. Oh, wait, no. Hold on. That are just up. What did I call you?
Yeah.
Cake!
Cake! 10 out of 10 would not recommend.
Here you go, Cap.
Are we done here?
Yeah,
Activate the climber, please.
sure thing.
Passengers. 1.
So for Catherine, you two just came off of a
Descend?
fight, and then Catherine had no time.
Wait, they don't
in
know.
between to really process. No, what I'm saying is had no time in between to process the fight. They just shut themselves off and then reappeared here.
Yep.
So the
This is
hostility
actually-
is still fresh with her.
It's true.
This is actually one of the most important sequences between Catherine and Simon for the game, and this could change your perspective on Simon or Catherine. One of
Or
the
both.
two things will happen, I guess. It's a very long cinematic sequence, and I would suggest you activate that thing, sit down, and then look to the very, very left, because then you can see both screens. It's incredibly detailed.
Okay.
Stare
Looking
at
to my
those
left.
screens.
Oh, I should have sat over there. Oh well. Okay, so it's a depth position.
Luck, right?
Loading.
I woke up in the right body. It's a redundant copy. I'll never experience my journey, the full journey.
Twilight Zone. Oh, this is actually going through the stages.
Pity.
Oh.
I couldn't do it, and you knew it. You were right in trying to hide it from me. Only wish you'd done
Trying.
a better job.
Yeah.
I basically flipped a coin, and if I had called the wrong side, I'd be rotting away at Omicron. I mean, there's nowhere to know, right? You didn't hit the make sure Simon wakes up in the right body switch, did you? Not that you would know.
He can still drain his own battery, though.
Still claim to be the right Simon. Christ.
Yeah, he could, but
This
that'd
is
be his
awful. We did
choice.
an awful fucking thing. And you wouldn't mind? Why would you? How could you know that it's not me, the me that I am, the same that I've always been?
Because you're not?
Please say something. I don't want to think. Please.
Or still
I
the
don't know
same
what to
midnight
say.
zone.
I don't
Sunlight
want to
zone.
upset you.
Say anything.
When I was little, I used to climb the stairs all the way to the top of the building. And I can still feel how I had to, tuck my arms so I could push the heavy steel door open. Well, the first time
Yes,
that I
man,
dared go
man.
up there, I
Always
stepped out onto
confused.
the roof
I don't know why.
and watched the smog rise and fall over Taipei. I got all the way up to the corner ledge, and I felt the warm wind in my hair, and the sun was setting, and the streets below were shadowed by the tall buildings. The people pushing through the crowd flowed like paint from an artist's brush. Street food vendors filled the air with aromas of all my favorite foods. For a brief moment, I felt connected to the world in a way that I had never had before. It was the most profound feeling of comfort and sense of belonging I could ever hope for. I really never felt the
Why do
same
you think
way
I live
again,
here?
But I went up to the roof many times after. I'm not religious, but I can see why people would be. The privilege of being makes a strong case. At least every
I am the
once in a while.
Dominion, the
You still
Arcana
feel
of the
that sense
Abyss.
of awe? Even like this?
Things are different, but we're still here.
What's the point of going on? Everyone's gone. All the people still left are digital copies trapped in computers at the bottom of the sea. We'll never be able to rebuild or reclaim what we were.
Are you really so unhappy being what you are, or is this about the man who went for a scan 100 years ago?
Both, I guess. When I was back in Toronto, even the worst case, the darkest futures I could predict, they at least included my previous life somehow. I feel so uprooted. There's nothing here that I recognize, nothing that makes me feel like I belong.
Yep.
Even if we make it to the Ark, would it be any different? I'd still be alone. No friends. No family.
You could make new friends. I'm sure everyone would like to know the time traveler. If not, you still have...
Ah! I got bit lapped.
Why is there a camera up there? How long has that been staring at me?
Catherine? Kath?
She was gonna say you still have
Hello,
me, and then now
Catherine.
you don't have her anymore.
What happened?
I get it.
2 chapters ahead, my friend.
Oh, again?
Mhm.
She's still right
All the
there.
time. You know what I find illogical? That the Omni tool shows it's not connected, right?
Yeah.
But why does the camera still have a red light on?
Yes, that's what I was asking. That's beautiful.
Jellyfish.
It means we're about to die.
To be honest,
I can climb up here.
The game was pretty terrifying for me because I have thalassophobia, but I also have anxiety of heights and elevators.
Oh, me too.
And I was sitting here, and do you feel it? How the elevator's moving?
The power blacked out for a moment.
Oh, sorry.
I think it could be the atmospheric pressure. It's pushing pretty hard, really testing the limits of my suit.
Don't worry, it should hold.
Comforting.
It will hold.
Okay, continue.
Well,
You're in the middle of talking with a fear of elevators.
Yeah. And I was sitting on top of this elevator. I felt the elevator going, trembling like left to right. At the same time, a loss of phobic anxieties rise because of these strange fishies out there. Darkness, unlimited depth. I was like, oh God, I wanted to barf, you know? I was under such pressure.
Well,
and then I'm figuring with any of these strange fuses, come on, I don't want to deal with this shit.
having
a heart attack.
It's okay.
I honestly think that a lot of that stems from us having the dark thoughts, right? But I could just jump. That for me is the issue. Is I have so much freedom. When I'm given that kind of freedom, my instinct, my natural response is, I want to jump. But then my brain goes, no, please stop. Please don't. Please, whatever you do, body, just don't. I don't want to experience that.
This is video game. How dare you?
But I can. But if I just
translated so well into my anxieties that I couldn't think about this is a video game. Not at that point.
Okay. Anyway, what is it blinking at me? Oh, I gotta sit down again. Okay.
Does Does time freeze when you're not powered?
Time feels omitted more than emitted.
What's the
Oh,
difference?
that's another
I don't
topic.
feel like I'm being held back or hindered. And
I'll
I
talk
don't
about
have
it
the
in a
opportunity
second.
to reflect on the time I'm missing. It's simply missing.
Sounds like sleeping without the dreaming.
Yes. But generally you anticipate when you're about to sleep, and there's a natural continuation since we tend to wake up where we went
You
to
see
sleep.
the pressure building
My
up?
experience is more like an
Yeah.
ever-changing moment that never really seems to find closure.
Sounds kind of like
Just
a
dead.
movie being edited live.
I suppose so. I guess it sounds exciting, but it really keeps me activated to the
Ooh.
point of exhaustion.
Uh-oh.
It's rough.
Could be worse. Could be a time traveler stuck in a body made from black goo.
That'd be the
Yeah,
worst.
that's true. Could be.
Oh god. Oh, it's getting so
What's
dense.
Yeah. You see the camera.
Brakes? Brakes? Brakes?
Don't worry, it'll hold.
Ross! Hey, Ross!
I think this is a
What?
genius move by the developers. Nobody expects the second break or second scare, whatever you want to call it.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition!
There's only one, and this one is good.
Wait, why?
Gentleman.
What?
Oh, good, you're back.
Wait, what?
What happened?
Something dropped onto the cage. Knocks you right out.
That's
Spoke
not
to
what
me.
it...
Looked like a man, one of WoW's creatures. It just stared at you for a moment, then threw itself down the abyss.
It said it would make
What?
preparations.
Yeah,
I like
different
the sound of
perceptions.
It was very strange. I thought it was going to kill you for sure. I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah,
Well, thank
me
you.
too. Looks like
I'm
we're closing in on the
Confucius
ocean
about that.
floor.
Good, not sure the climate
The
can
WoW
take it
doesn't
much
want to
longer.
kill,
Okay,
it wants to
so
control.
This is the Omega sector.
Well, it wasn't...
It's
Well,
about an
it might be
acre
the
of
WoW, but it
abyssal
might not
land
be.
used by
It's
pagan
Ross
nations.
before he
I
got
expect we'll have to do
corrupted.
some walking before we reach
After?
town.
You haven't been here before?
Not in a way that'll help us.
Right, the other you has been here. We're following your little footsteps, Kat.
When I had footsteps,
You could still be down here somewhere, technically.
don't remind me, freaks me out.
Oh, it freaks you out?
Find that art.
I got a second one of me up there. I had to say hi to him and decide if I wanted to murder him. Huh?
So,
Convenient for
what-
you, huh?
What is the confusion about?
Oh, the way that it interacted with Kath. How
Which,
did she...
What interacted with Cass?
Ross.
Did he?
Well,
didn't.
Kath saw it, but yet she was blacked out.
That was it.
She was not blacked out, but
But she didn't
said
speak.
something
You
very-
were.
She said something very interesting.
Yeah, she said that you were blacked out even though you were not. But then also, how
No,
can you
you
black
were.
out?
You were.
You were.
you're
But
talking
how?
about-
I'm a robot. How did I have
Something fell on
eyes?
top of your head.
Let's say a lot of electromagnetism.
But that makes it staticky. That doesn't make me open my eyes like I'm a human.
Let's say like a how's
Let's say
that called?
telekinesis.
Electromagnetic impulse bomb. I don't know what it is.
Oh.
EMS, EMP.
EM
What about
No.
that? Then you could black out as a robot, right?
well,
Yes, but you wouldn't wake
but
up with
at
your
the same-
eyeballs like as if you have human eyeballs. You would just
Oh, you
blink
mean
back
the
on.
opening of the lids? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is serious by the developers or just showing that you are waking up. I don't know
I
how
mean-
to judge that. But you also have a lot of
I
human
said-
body instead of a robot body. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Well, so
like
the other
90%
thing-
of your body are human, so maybe, but not the
Well,
eyeballs.
but yeah, but you don't have the head. The one thing you're missing is the head with the eyeballs. Anyway,
But
go
as-
ahead, Rabbit. You were gonna say something and I kept interrupting you. I apologize.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. What are you gonna say, JP?
I wanted to say that if, as Catherine and Simon talked to each other on the Zeppelin, she explained to him that some of his senses could be like overlaid by his sanity or whatever, to explain to him why he interacts in the world in the way he does. Like showing his natural human arms to him instead of showing him the truth, because he would go insane. This could also apply to these eyeball thingies, right?
I mean, it's fair, but at the same time, first off, to me, it's a break of immersion, because it's making an assumption, and this is basically like, this is the rules of this universe. If we were to assume that this is how it would be, this is what would happen, and it happened this way because, well, you're experiencing it, which I'm okay with, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, sure, it's a little bit of a leap, but
said so.
Yeah, this was also a point where I just thought like, hey, wait a second, huh? This also broke the immersion at that moment for me, because I was like, no, this is wrong. You should make myself either fully black or fully not black.
Yeah,
but
just blink in like Catherine does.
How she perceived that event was totally different than yourself. How did she describe it?
Well, she described that you blacked out, it landed above me, knocking me out, and then came up to me, and then fell into the abyss.
She said something more.
Well, so the weird part is she jumped on, it said that it jumped on the cage, and that we saw it come from here. We didn't see it land on the cage. We saw him open the door, crawl up here, walk up to us, and then leave. Whereas Catherine said that it jumped from on top of the cage, and then went up to us, and then fell off into the abyss. That was what I picked up.
Yeah, I was more towards the direction that she said it just stared at you for a moment, and then
that's
she didn't even recognize, she didn't even notice that it was talking to you, and this can only mean one thing: it
telepathy.
Just talk to you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah,
well,
let's call it Wi-Fi. Yeah. Let's call it telepathy.
Or paired Bluetooth.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a one-way pairing. It wasn't wide range or broadband or anything like that. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to bring up was the notion of the fourth dimension time, where they're talking about how Catherine just kind of like blinks through time. This would be is the definition of what it would be like if we were a theoretical present being in some senses, because like, for example, biblically they say that the world was made in 7 days, and obviously for a while people were like, well, obviously that's not true, it was made over millions and millions of years. It's like, well, but what about the time to a god? It would be a past the fourth dimension, maybe a fifth dimensional being or sixth dimensional being, right? For them, they could just press the fast forward button, or they could just be like, all right, just as easily as we walk from here to the supermarket, they walk from 10 billion years BC to 10,000 BC. And that's just a normal walk for them.
Yeah.
Well, think of it like a video game.
And they can move forward or backwards. They don't care.
Well, when you're doing like a sandbox open world, not open world, but like galaxy control simulator or something like that, you could literally, in the span of a day, form so many things.
Well, a day to you. Yes.
Well, yeah, a day to you in the game world. So, yes. I mean, this entire existence of ours could literally just be a video game to whatever it is that we're.
But that's a terrifying concept
God.
As well, because it's like the Undertale. It's the Undertale thing where the ending. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't played Undertale, but one of the ending's notions, and I'm only going to say what the notion was, is that they wanted you to keep playing because when you leave and you abandon them, they're just gone forever. They're never to exist again. When you stop playing games, they only exist when you play them. When it's not Wreck-It Ralph. It's
scary how Undertale breaks with this law of an environment that is kept into itself.
Yeah, and they lived happily ever after kind of notions.
And somehow Undertale does the job of breaking this law and leaving this environment.
Yeah. So how much more of the game do we have, by the way? Because I don't want to continue it if I have another 3 hours worth.
No,
you have.
Considering how you have been playing, you've got another 3 hours. You took
Yeah.
about a 5 to 10 minute section of the game and expanded
Yes,
it to
but if
3
there's only
hours.
10 minutes of the game, right?
No.
I don't think I have another 3-hour conversation. I think that was probably the biggest plot point, right? Or am I wrong? Is there more plot points like that?
You're at 90% or even 85, I would say.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
15%
we
of the
got
game.
enough for one more episode.
Okay.
If not 2 more.
2? There's enough for 2?
Maybe.
Jesus.
It depends on how many, how much you want to actually travel in the game instead of standing still.
We made progress. I got 2 different items and traversed down
Yes.
into the depths of the abyss. And we got a new body. And we died. Twice.
Yeah. Okay. So if we cut out all the philosophical talking points of today, which was good and fun, we would have been able to beat the game tonight.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
But didn't you want to just exist? Was that not the best stream of your life? Come on.
I said it's the easiest stream of my life. I
Oh,
didn't
you don't
say
like
the best.
this? Oh, well, look at this guy
Wait,
changing his
what?
tune.
Why is this the easiest stream?
Because he did nothing.
Because I
He
don't
sat
have
here.
to do anything. I just put
He played sound
play
effects.
and let you two go. I played sound effects. Yeah.
Yes.
He did what I did when he played Dead Space. I just pressed a button every now and then and was like, funny spook.
You just saw us going into nerd mode and
Oh, yeah. But no, I love that.
I can
when
distract
Schaefer's
myself with chat, and I was interacting with chat. and
He's
stuff
the guy
too,
that
so.
interjects with, but aliens. You know, like, it's needed.
Well, I try and interject with what the audience is saying.
No. That's helpful.
Because I actually enjoy, while playing the games, interacting with chat. And it's taken me a while to actually get used to it. How you guys talk? Yes, 2, 3. Yeah, about 2 to 3 episodes worth with all the other
It
introspectives. That's
depends.
probably gonna be
How many
I
more,
thought-
you know, thought
Brother?
concepts could we do? You know, how
we could
many
do
more?
tons. We could do hundreds.
I could have
With
an
you
entire
just
podcast.
standing
on this.
still.
hours and not episodes. Oopsie.
Hey man, I'm moving around. I'm schmoving. I don't know what you're talking about. It's like right now.
I
What
mean,
was that?
now you are, yeah.
Episodes.
Yeah.
Episodes.
Anyway, we should probably call it there.
Yeah, thank you all for joining tonight. Thank you, JP, for joining us.
Yes,
Hey,
thank you
thanks
very
for having
much.
me. Yeah, it's an honor.
So, yeah, we probably, next week is potentially the last Soma episode. Who knows? It
Potentially.
could still be going for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see.
And then we'll think about what the next game might entail.
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple
It's not
things
gonna
lined up
be as
actually.
philosophical.
Probably not. It's probably gonna be a lot more dumb and like just shoot things or something. I don't know. Also, just to point this out, we took out Catherine and the red light is still on. So I'm wondering if that's just some like
I think it's
reflective
just
light
power.
or.
I mean,
I
I,
think
don't
it's
see
just
why.
Yeah, but we
it's
ran
powered. I
out
mean,
of power.
The lights at the top are
They're
still on as well. Why shouldn't it be powered, right? She can just put herself out, leaving the power activated, right?
Yeah, like what when
Yeah,
the fuse
the-
went, why was it that she went out, but not everything went out?
Hey, I didn't invent an
Everything
elevator,
except
okay?
that camera did, yeah. Well, the camera could have its own battery source too, like a UPS.
And who's been maintaining that?
For several
Look at
years
everything
now.
else on this thing. You think that a
Brother?
battery
Brother.
would survive?
I think it would have lasted inside of a pressurized container that Okay, thank you, Rose, for the
sticker.
scoop.
That's just a red sticker, okay?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Maybe
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
reflective
yeah.
sticker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Good enough. Anyway, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, until next time, everyone. Thank you all for joining, and have fun, everyone.
Bye,
Peace.
Polar Bear. Bye, Pink
And
Lord.
on my end, thank you all so much for joining us on this grand adventure. And until next time, remember to stay safe and don't get lost in the abyss.